Ignore the clothes on my bed.
Okay, we're chilling. And we are live.
Hell yeah.
Welcome, Impulse. Or should I say Mr. Hotshot 37. So is this
Not
like...
on Discord.
No, on Discord. So I'll probably just be calling you Impulse, but basically it's just Impulse's new and awesome gaming channel.
Natural.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And
well, it's just like it's basically just channel for everything not FNAF.
Exactly, yeah. And he actually just released a new the first part of Evil Requiem, right? I did skim a little bit of that. That was pretty cool. And you've obviously already
it was basically just my edited down stream. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I did. I didn't end up editing my second part yet because my second part is 3 hours worth of footage that I need to edit down. I have no idea how long the edited down version will be. The edited down version might be like 2.5 hours. It might not go down that much. I have no idea. But it's gonna be pretty long. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Alrighty, I'm just making. I did not advertise the stream at all, so I would not be surprised if no one shows up for this.
Yeah.
Hashtag my bad.
I noticed it wasn't scheduled at all. I know Freb is probably asleep because for him it is 2:30 a.m.
Yeah. Which completely fine. It's just two bros yapping. That's the whole point of the great NCS. Also, I look like a newborn baby mouse with this, like, I don't know, on this freaking thing, bro. Okay, I'm not exactly flattering lighting for me, but anyway, you want to just like go and introduce yourself? You know, just I don't think we've actually had you on the channel before, bro.
Besides like when we streamed before, I know we recorded one non-canon shenanigans a while ago.
And
you didn't post it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, it's just with the newer stuff, it just almost felt like all the stuff we talked about was like near outdated, and I was just like, God damn it, dude. So that's part of the reason I never really made it into anything. But what's crazy is that video, or like whatever, actually ended up being a little closer to what ends up happening in the game. Not like identical or anything, but it's weird how like decently close both of us were, like predictions wise.
Especially by like your connection stuff, yeah.
Except they didn't really go the route I was planning. I didn't think they were gonna retcon everything, so guess I should have seen that one coming.
Okay, I didn't really comprehend a lot of the plot of this. Like I understood the basic plot.
Yeah,
there's just definitely a few things that I haven't really gathered at the moment.
Real.
Like it might have been explained. It's stuff that was probably explained in the game, but I just didn't like really either grasp onto it, or maybe it was like in notes that I missed. I only missed 6 notes in the entire playthrough, so like I may have missed the most important ones. You never know. Or it could just be that I'm dumb and I missed stuff, or I didn't pay enough attention. I paid pretty good attention, so I think I don't know if it was me, but here's one example. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was explained in the game and I just didn't notice. But how did Leon and Sherry get infected with the T-virus? Did they just get infected like in Raccoon City, or were they infected by Gideon somehow?
So I personally, when I explain this, I'm not saying I agree with this. This is just the game's explanation. Personally, I think it's dumb, and I'll get into why afterwards. But it's called Raccoon City Syndrome, and basically people who got trace amounts.
I read about that, yeah.
And were never fully cured, which I don't think Leon was. But what doesn't make sense is that Sherry was cured of the T-virus, which is a much more volatile version of the T-virus. So, and also she has Wolverine healing powers, or healing factor, basically, which also doesn't make sense why she was infected. 2 big reasons, I would argue, why that just does not make any sense at all. And I think the reason why they did that was because they didn't want it to feel like, well, they were like, okay, we want Sherry to be in the game, but we don't want it to feel like a cop-out that she's not infected, because, like, Leon could just be cured. But, like, at the same time, I feel like that just causes way too many problems, but I don't know.
I feel like it's just weird that Sherry lasted longer than Leon, and I also think it's way too coincidental that it would be only now is when they're getting infected, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just seems way too coincidental that their infection is getting worse at this point in time.
Yeah.
And also, is it just anybody that was in Raccoon City, like the T virus was airborne in some way, and like it just got in their lungs, like so then it was in their system? Because if that's the case, then what about everybody else? Like Chris and Jill, Ada, all those characters, are they also infected, and did they also get the cure, or are we just forgetting about them? And there's also the question of like you said, Sherry, she got infected with the G virus. Did her antibodies like in RE6 she has the antibodies of it, right? But RE6 is now not canon. We'll talk about that later too. But that's not canon anymore apparently. So does she still have the antibodies, or is her T virus infection actually a G virus infection rather than a T virus, and it's just affecting her in a similar way? I also remember one small thing was that I noticed was in the RPD when the tyrant shows up and Leon's like, "I remember you," and then the tyrant beats the fuck out of him, and then Leon's just like, "I remember that too." So canonically, Leon gets punched by the tyrant.
Yeah.
So canonically, Leon doesn't have a perfect playthrough of RE2, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that so maybe theoretically he could have gotten bitten by a zombie and somehow he just survived that? But he had the T virus infecting him. But also that begs the question of how did Sherry get infected if that's how he got infected? You know,
Hmm.
it's just a lot of variables, and it's hard to gauge what exactly the story, what story exactly is trying to be told.
Yeah, I mean, I think they clearly did not learn anything from Resident Evil Village. Like, the end of that game had the writing qualities that this game had. Like, where, oh, look, Spencer was in cahoots with Mother Miranda before he founded Umbrella. And people were like, that's stupid. And then what did they do in this game? They did the exact same type of bullshit, but for the entire game. So, I don't know. I didn't think we would get a game so soon that was as, like, story-wise, as bad as Village, if not worse, which I would say this game is worse, but I don't know.
Sure. I just think it's like really. I think overall the plot of the game itself is pretty good. Like it definitely engaged me. It's just like the background information and like how everything comes together. The story within that's being told within the game is good. The background that we learn about through the game is just hard to comprehend, you know, and a little convoluted.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because I think everything started to fall apart like as soon as Xeno was introduced and like the apparently
Sure.
the
Yeah.
connections were relevant and Victor Gideon was working with them and the fact that the connections basically bombed Raccoon City, which makes no fucking sense by the way. Literally RE6, like that's a straight up that's a retcon of multiple different things. Like the U.S. government, like isn't that the plot of RE3? Is that they're like near the end of it, they're trying to like stop the nuke from happening, and then it's just too little, too late, and then they escape, right?
Wasn't it that I remember at the end of the game there was rumors throughout the game, I think, of the connections just running the government somehow, like just the entire US
Oh,
government, I
I was
guess.
talking about like RE3 by the way, just like
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
I know. I'm just saying like
Oh, okay,
if
okay.
they do like control the government somehow, then maybe like the connections through the US government sent out the missile, and then when they were trying to stop it, like Tyrell was trying to get a hold of somebody in the US government. Really, what he would have been trying to get a hold of was the US government themselves, but being controlled by the connections, the same way like Shield is controlled by Hydra, I guess, kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, for in order for that to make sense, they literally shot themselves in the foot because Sherry even says, "Oh yeah, there's no like evidence that it was even launched to begin with," which means that the U.S. government did not do that.
Or they like covered it up somehow.
No, well, she said it wasn't a cover. Like that specifically wasn't a cover up. Like the stuff surrounding it was a cover up, but the actual like nuke itself, I don't think the government like that was that's the record I'm talking about is the fact that the government didn't do it at all,
Mhm, okay.
and the game kind of dances around like how that's even possible. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, but the weirdest part about the game to me is how it sets up like the future games. Like
Yeah.
I told you that I have like a bunch of notes about the game that
Oh,
I
me too.
wrote while I was while I was playing it, and after I finished my streams, while I was editing my first
Hmm.
video, every time I thought of something to write down, I I wrote it down. I have a whole doc of all of the Resident Evil games because I plan on you'll probably join me for that, I assume, when I rank all of the games.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll
Maybe
see.
depending on depends when I do it,
Hmm.
and like your availability and stuff. But when I do that, I have a whole doc of all of the notes of it and of each of the games. I haven't filled out all of the games yet, but I filled out a decent amount. So I've been filling out my Requiem notes on that as I've been playing and stuff. And one thing that I wrote down like right before we started the stream was that there's a lot of setup for future Resident Evil games,
Yeah.
and I think that's cool. But I'm just not 100% sure how I feel about everything that they are setting up. Um, for one, the remakes are a big thing because this game confirms that the remakes are the canon timeline, right?
Yup.
Uh, RE1 obviously is the RE1 remake is obviously the canon one, considering Lisa Trevor exists, and also it just depends like whether they end up remaking RE1 again at some point. I don't know if they will,
Yeah.
but either way, Lisa Trevor does exist in the Resident Evil timeline. So RE1 remake is canon at least for now. RE2 remake is obviously canon here. RE3 remake obviously and 4 remake same universe as 2 remake obviously, right? So what's weird about that is Resident Evil Village, they mention Chris being a boulder punching asshole. So if they when not if when inevitably they remake RE5 eventually, no matter how far in the future that is, they'll definitely do it, I think. Um but whenever that does happen, he still has to punch that boulder,
Hmm.
right? Because the remakes are the canon timeline. Um, and then RE6, they just completely decanonized it because the whole plot of RE6, not the whole plot, but a decent chunk of the plot was about the president who ordered the hit on Raccoon City or the one trying to expose the hit on Raccoon City, blah blah
It
blah,
was, yeah, it
that kind
was
of
the one
stuff,
who
right?
exposed it.
Yeah. So the fact that that stuff is just not true anymore means that that game isn't canon, which means if they're remaking the games right now, right? That means that all of the games that have come out since RE7 and the games after, besides like Resistance and Reverse obviously,
Hmm.
all of the games that have come out are canon. Like or not like they're all the timeline. They're all within the same timeline. Uh, Meaning that RE5 and 6 they don't have a remake yet, so they're technically not in the timeline yet. RE5 will probably get a remake, but RE6 is just completely decanonized, meaning that RE5 like it has stuff that like doesn't contradict anything at the moment with the remakes. Even if it does get remade, like that still works with this timeline, but RE6 just simply doesn't. So that basically just means that one of the mainline Resident Evil games just isn't canon. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 are all canon, but 6 just isn't. Meaning they have to remake it at some point. I talked about this on my stream too. How I just find it weird that they just decanonized it and now there is no RE6 that we can like fall back on like to fill that void. So they have to like do something to like refill it, I
Hmm.
guess. Whether in like 10 years they remake it or reimagine it in some way, it just seems like they have to at this point. Sorry, I know I was yapping for a long
Oh
time,
no, you're
but
good. It's just
that's uh that's definitely a big topic that
I
I might even make a video on that at some point.
I,
But
I think you should. I don't. So this is just. I'm just kind of like the what I'm about to say. Just I would just say this is your opinion. This mine. I'm gonna basically say I don't agree with you, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't have that opinion. If that makes sense.
mhm.
I don't think RE6 isn't canon now. I think the problem is that I mean, to be fair, they've been doing this shit for like almost 30 years. Is that there's just two pieces of huge information that's so contradictory, and it's the problem
Yeah.
of the new game that even did that to begin with. Because
Mhm.
Spencer being like, "Oh, Elpis, it's gonna be a requiem for those," or it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you he was always the bad guy. He was always like the one of the biggest bad guys of the whole series. So to retcon that like he had some tiny regrets before he passed away is just really dumb in my opinion, and makes his speech in RE5 look even dumber.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I don't mind him regretting stuff in general if you ignore RE5. but his conversation with Wesker and RE5 definitely does not feel like the same guy who's talking to Alyssa in those tapes. It's a
Yeah.
completely different person, clearly.
I
Because
mean, even
that's
in
like, when does
Resident Evil
that take place?
Resistance, he
Alyssa's, I think
doesn't.
it's like
Oh, what's up?
Alyssa's tapes. They were what, 2004 ish? Maybe later, maybe earlier than I don't remember. It was
Probably
around that
2004.
time though. It was around that time, and Wesker kills him also around that time, like a year or two later, something like
Yeah.
that. I don't remember the exact timing, um, but if he regrets it, and then he very clearly wants to become a god after that, it's just like, does he have dementia and like he's going back to his previous mindset,
They
or
might
is
do
it
that in the
just
RE5 remake if
contradicting
that
it?
even comes out.
Yeah, I feel like if and when they do remake it, they'll probably change like that whole scene with
Yeah,
Wesker.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the writers from 7, 8, 9, they gotta go, bro. They gotta go. Dude, like, Resident Evil 7 already had, like, super contradictory, like, causes, or, like, the way that the mold was written in that game was so contradictory across the main game and the DLC and RE8 that, like, that was just a sign of things to come, if we're being honest. That they could not keep their lore straight and, like, clear cut. Because in most of the RE7 main game stuff, it says it takes 3 weeks. And some there's a few elements that contradict it, but it's only like a note or two. But I think part of that was because then they started to work on the DLC like around the end of the game, and then obviously Daughters came out, which is might as well just be non-canon if I'm just being 100% honest, because it's so stupid in terms of lore relevance. Like it's a actually I don't even like it as a DLC if I'm being honest, but I don't know, man. They just gotta go. Like, clearly they don't know how to write a Resident Evil game, and I just think they were allowed way too much creative freedom with this game, and it shows. Like, they just did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, like I said, I do think the story of the game itself it's pretty engaging to me. I did enjoy what I watched. I didn't enjoy as much of what I read, like in the notes and stuff.
Mhm.
Some of them were pretty cool, but like some of the deep lore reveals and like retcons and stuff, it just feels awkwardly written to me, and it just feels like they were a little bit lazy with how they were, like it just with their writing in this game.
Yeah. I'm
There's definitely
surprised.
some positives to me, but there's also some pretty big negatives to me.
Yeah. I'm surprised that bigger franchises like Resident Evil and like the MCU and stuff, they haven't gotten like a team of like fact checkers at this point. Like they just go through the whole game and you guys are like, and they're just like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. You can't do this, you can't do that. Like I'm surprised they
Yeah, there's no
haven't.
way there wasn't anybody that was like, "Oh yeah, this completely contradicts the lore of RE6, 7, and 8. So how do we fix that?" Oh, we don't.
Yeah,
They just
exactly.
don't care.
I think,
They clearly don't care about the about the lore contradictions at
yeah,
all. 'Cause they
dude,
keep doing it.
for real, bro. Freaking, I was seeing someone say that they should have just made the game about like Jill, like instead of Leon, just helping Grace get like a backbone against going against the connections for like assassinating like Alyssa and make her like her actual daughter. That would have been peak cinema, bro. That would have been the much better Resident Evil game. No Umbrella, no connections, retcons with all the Raccoon City stuff. And they can still do all this stuff in Renwood, which I love the aesthetic of like that. I'm sad that that was only literally like a thing for like less than an hour of gameplay. I don't know, because like don't get me wrong, I love Leon as a character, but he does not fit this game at all. Like especially with
he
like
he does feel a little out of place, yeah.
they just try to ham fist him so hard with the fan service. Like he's like Orphan, he's just like going into Raccoon City for the first time. Or sorry, the
To
RPD
be
is
fair,
what I
he
meant
was
to
very
say.
sexy in that scene, to
He
be
was,
fair.
but my point is that like it didn't. The fan service didn't feel earned because okay, there's I would say there's such thing as good fan service and bad fan service. I will give two
Mhm.
examples. When the Duke was like, the what are you buying? Something a friend of mine used to say. That is a great piece of fan service because it leaves it so
Sure,
open
yeah.
ended on what it could mean. I feel like that's great. But then when Leon's like, hey stranger or whatever in RE6, that's the type of fan service I don't like, where it's just completely out of the blue and look, ooga booga, look, it's the thing you played before. So just to establish, I don't hate fan service, I just hate when it's done poorly. And I think
Yeah.
Requiem has way too many moments of just ooga booga, look, it's fan service. Uh I think the biggest piece like that I really dislike is like So, you go into the RPD, what it is, but then they have the original RE2, like, main hull theme. Like, that wasn't even in the
Yeah, yeah.
remake, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it is in like the original SFX if you want, if you activate that into remake. But I could be
Okay,
wrong. It
but
might not
vanilla
even be there.
gameplay, right? It's not in it.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I just don't think that's earned, if I'm being honest. Like,
The thing is, I enjoyed most of the fan service. Not like I think it was good or well placed, but I
mhm.
think it definitely made me feel actual emotions. Just because even though I've only been like a big fan of Resident Evil for just under 3 years ish. Like I got into the series with RE4 remake, and then I got into it over time after that.
Yeah,
And because I've played just about every single Resident Evil game by this point, almost like there's only like two, three that I haven't played, um, and even including the spin-offs. I the I really did feel uh, not emotional like I was crying, but like emotional like I was happy to see this stuff. Like it was really cool to see this stuff again, and I was like, did you see the tofu Easter egg by the way?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I did.
Yeah, did you know what it was like immediately, or did you
hmm
not? Yeah, I didn't. I heard the sound. And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I had to keep going in and out of the rooms so I could see what it was again, so because it popped up. But I thought that was really cool. I think that was like obviously there's not a living block of tofu actually in Raccoon City. That being there is probably not canon, but I think it's cool that just that the idea of seeing that, right? And I think going back to the RPD, Leon's like trauma with the place, I think that part is handled really well. It's just a matter of how it actually fits into the grander story. I think with the story they're telling, it works, but the story they're telling doesn't work. You know does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. I think in a vacuum, I don't think it's even that bad of a Resident Evil story. But the problem is that the more that you connect it to the entire series, because like you got to remember, right? Like, so okay, Triforce pointed out a great point because I was, just rambling about the game, and they were like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh yeah, I think you have no recency bias." And it made me realize there's so many times where I will call out criticisms for, or I have so many criticisms that people don't even come to the conclusion of until like later on. I'm not trying to say that I'm right. I'm just saying that my recency bias is instead of getting it here, I just get it as soon as like I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know why. It's just some random filter in my brain. And I think the problem with all like the fan service in this game is that it didn't feel like it really served a point other than look guys, you've seen this before. And while I think the RPD looks really cool and the actual like design of like the torn down version, it's neat in a vacuum, but when you consider the fact that, Raccoon City is supposed to be glassed, I feel like even
Yeah.
someone like Jill or Chris would have way more emotions going through this place for the first time. It just feels like a lot of wasted story potential. Like if they were gonna go with the retcon, I feel like they should have just gone all the way at this point.
Sure, yeah. I'm just flabbergasted at how much stuff is still in the RPD. Like
Exactly.
you see the walls torn down, that makes sense. It's still standing. Depends like what kind of nuke it was, I guess. Like I could see the building still partially standing if walls are broken. That's not a huge deal to me. I don't mind that part that much. Um, but seeing those walls torn down and then seeing Jill's beret still on her desk, perfectly intact,
Or the
it's
Welcome
like,
Leon thing from the remake.
yeah, it's like that stuff is cool to see, but how is it alive?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And even like the zombie from the zombie that you see at the beginning of RE2 remake, the one that has like its jaw ripped off.
Yeah, the
That's really cool
skeleton.
that it's really cool that it's still there, but it shouldn't still be there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's been 28 years. I feel like even Bones I feel like would have
Oh, well,
disintegrated by then,
Bones stick around
especially
for a while, bro.
in Nuke. They do, but I feel like by 30 years, I think either they not even just like the fact that they were exposed, but the fact that they were exposed to a nuclear blast, even if
Oh
the
yeah,
building
that's
was partially intact, I feel like the bones should either not still be there or they should at least be somewhere else. Like they should be moved somewhere.
yeah.
Like they shouldn't be sitting in the exact spot. Like again, I think it's cool to see that, and obviously the reason that they would keep it there is so that we would recognize it as that specific zombie.
Hmm.
That I get. It's just a matter of the fact that it is still there just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think I know I will probably rant about a lot of stuff. I don't want to seem like I'm just stomping on your parade with a new Resident Evil game, but really, I just
Ah,
want
you're
to
good.
preface that most of what I have to complain about is more so the why rather than the what, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
exploring like a broken down RPD in concept, it might be a massive retcon, but if they are like fully like we're gonna explore the RPD no matter what, it could work in some way. But I think the problem
Mhm.
is that they lean a little too much into the fan service with specific areas. Like, for
Sure. Yeah.
instance, having Rebecca's photo in the library. Like there's like a
Was it there?
specific
I don't think I found that.
you have to go through like a
You
mini
mean
like
what, Wesker's? Wesker's photo of her, or like?
yeah. So you have to like
Oh, that's
go through a bunch of like
huh.
random stuff, and then you end up being like, oh look, a book the captain checked out is in the library, and then if you check the book, it has Rebecca's picture in it, the one from
Right.
To
Okay.
Make,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, I didn't actually end up doing Barry's
mhm,
puzzle. I didn't know exactly what it was. I
mhm.
couldn't figure it out. But
And then the Tofu Survivor, and then Mr. X. Like, it just felt way too on the nose, and just it felt like it was trying to get a rise out of me in terms of like nostalgia and all that. And you got to remember,
to
right?
be fair,
Like,
it did get a rise out of me.
yeah,
Even
exactly.
I understood that it didn't make logical sense and that it was a little bit contrived within the story of the game, but it was still cool to see it to me. Like I
Hmm.
understand, like it's one of those things where I liked it even though it wasn't inherently good, if that makes sense. Like you know how
Okay,
like when you watch a shitty movie, but you still have fun watching it. Like I
fair
like
enough.
it even if it's not good. You know, it's kind of like that.
Because I know a lot. Some people might point out like, oh well, RE2, 3, and 4 have never been like. Oh, I actually do love RE4 OG, but my point is that like some people might point out like, hey, Evan, you might not you don't really prefer that trilogy over like RE1 through 3, like that era of Resident Evil. So it's like obviously the fan service isn't going to work for you. But here's the thing, right? Shadows of Rose had some of the same problems where it's like, oh look, Evelyn's in the game. Oh look, you know, the evil Duke is in the game. Excuse me, and I hated those elements. Shadows of Rose might be probably my least favorite piece of post game DLC we have in the whole series. And I love 7. I love the way it plays, but unfortunately Village suffers a lot of problems, and that DLC suffers even more problems. So
Yeah, I didn't like it very much
even if
either.
Requiem was a fan service game for 7 and 8, I would still have the exact same stance, if not probably worse, because those games have already been done insanely dirty by RE8. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Okay, quick tangent really quickly. I know we're talking about like, mid-game stuff, but I just want to preface this PC port is very subpar. um
Okay.
I was having trouble with RE4 remake, but even then I didn't have to resort to DLSS, which for all you console players basically just means that it runs the game at a worse resolution and upscales it to the correct resolution. So it's basically 720p upscaled to 1080p essentially. I'm not saying that's exactly how it is, but some games can even go from like 480p to 1080p or like 480p to 1440p. It looks awful. But my point is that I really do not
Sure.
like using DLSS with games because it makes them look really blurry and washed out. And Requiem is no different. The game, for all its faults, I will say that is a graphically good-looking game, and it just sucks
Yeah,
that
it looks
it
great.
clearly the best ways to play it are on console. Like as of right now, maybe that'll change, but they have like DRM, and obviously the PC port's pretty subpar because dude, literally, Handsome's PC LED, he has like a 5070 equivalent for AMD, right? So it's not like Nvidia or whatever, like an Nvidia 5070 build, but it's more like the AMD equivalent. He was playing a 1440p max and still stuttering from time to time, bro. Especially with like areas with lots of particles. It should not be doing that. Dude, his PC is way overqualified to play a game like that. Obviously, it's going to have a tough
Yeah.
time playing like Cyberpunk or whatever because obviously that game's still not like optimized like super well. But my point is that like his PC should be able to like it's a supercomputer. It should be able to take anything and spit it right out. You know what I'm saying? It should be able to run 4K at like, 60 frames pretty easily. So the
Yeah.
fact that the PC port wasn't that good was pretty disappointing, and it literally was so like it literally made my PC crash midstream because I've been streaming for like 10 hours on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
80 degrees Celsius. So, my PC was like low-key kind of cooked there. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway,
Yeah.
I saw
I'm
that
gonna
like
I'm definitely gonna watch your whole playthrough at some point.
all of it.
I will, yeah, yeah, I will.
Oh, okay. You might
I
hate it
will. I
then.
haven't yet,
I
but
low key crashed the fuck out like most of the stream. By the
oh
way,
no, don't worry.
I
I
literally
did at the beginning of my I did it earlier today during my insanity playthrough, and when I just stopped. I could not continue, dude. I just gave up on that.
I was literally
Um,
practically yelling at some of the fan service. By the way, it was overreacting. Sure, I know, but I was just not really. I didn't really like the writing, and obviously I was like YouTuber
sure, yeah,
overreacting about it. But maybe I'll edit down into a video because I did record all of it. So
yeah. But one other small thing I will say about the RPD, it's a really short section. Like I'm
yeah.
not this is not like a negative towards it. I'm just like just something I noticed. It's so short, but you take so long doing it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like it takes a long time it not like a super long time, but like you are in RPD, you want to explore RPD, see what's there. If you're going to just do the mission that you have to do, it takes literally like 2 minutes because all you have to do is when you get in, you run up the little ramp, see the Welcome Leon cutscene, go through the office area, go down the hall, like where the liquor hallway is,
Hmm.
go into the reception area, I think it is, go up the ladder, grab the what is it?
The
The
crank.
yeah, like the jack from the library, and then go down and then go to the east side of the building, and then you're pretty much done. You just wrap around the area. If you're trying to do it quickly, you can get it done in like a couple minutes. But the whole area is it really hooks you with just the fact that you're back in this area. You really want to see what is here, like what they managed to create. I see all your cats in the background, but you can but like while you're there, you really want to see what they made here, all the stuff that they put in this place, and I think it's really cool. Just like I said, even if it doesn't really make sense that all this stuff is still here, it is really cool to explore it, and that kind of makes you stay there for way longer than you really have to, and I think that's kind of cool.
Each their own.
How fast did you do it? Did you like explore everything that you could or
I was probably out of there in like 15 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I tried
okay.
exploring,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't hooked on like trying to find like the RRR code to get that one thing in the stars office because I was like, "Oh, so it's going to be like one of those where you just
Yeah, I
like
didn't get
waste a
that
bunch of
either.
time." I was just like, well, I was like it feels like they want me to explore more, but there's just like nothing here. So I was just I didn't stay there super long, but I did try to explore as much as possible. So,
Although it didn't make sense how much of it was intact, part of me wishes that a little bit more of it was just so that there would be like a little bit more to explore. But I'm cool with what we got at least.
I mean, whatever we got would have been a massive stretch no matter what. So,
Sure, yeah. I think it like I said, I think it's cool to be back there. I wish there was a little bit more to see there, but what we did see I think was cool even if it didn't make sense regardless.
yeah. Okay, can we just talk about how the chunk boss fight and the spider boss fight for Leon are almost like beat for beat the exact same boss fight?
Um, wouldn't say so. Not really.
Well, okay, for the spider boss fight, I get there's like a small build up to it, like to obviously where you get to the room, but the actual like room itself is basically like a rectangle with two things you can mantle over to get extra items if you need it. And then the boss fight is like shoot it until like
Sure,
it
yeah.
downs and then you like either shoot the weak spot or attack it. Like to me the boss fight felt almost exactly the same.
Sure. Yeah. I'd say some of it definitely is pretty similar. To be fair, there's not much they can really change with it based on the gameplay style, and I don't really mind that. Like, I think the gameplay style is cool. Um, Even if I have some gripes with it, I think overall it's good. And I think the boss fights were pretty cool. And I think that they were pretty unique in terms of like how the spider boss fight, it shoots webs at you and it spits out little baby spiders.
Oh, that never happened to me if I'm
It
being honest.
Yeah, that happened to me. Did you play on standard classic by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, me too. Um, But yeah, he leaves a couple times. He sticks his ass in your face, and you got to shoot it.
Really?
Spits
Damn.
webs at
Okay.
you, spiders. Chunk, I did like how you had to get him to charge at you in order to open up some more loot for you. I liked how like he got stuck in the I like how he got stuck in the environment. And I think overall there's a lot of cool stuff with their boss fights. I think overall actually fighting them is pretty similar, but the environments make it work a little bit different
I
for each one.
mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just because I killed him so quickly, but like for me, it felt like almost the exact same boss fight, which is probably one of my biggest complaints. Is that like the game does not feel like it was built with Leon from the start. Does that make sense? Like it almost feels like they made Grace's half of the game, and then midway through development, they're like, "Well, I mean, we probably could make it a Leon game too, since it's so close to the 30th anniversary." And they're like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" Because like, okay, if you think about it, right, the game, like everything leading into the Big Mama fight, or I guess it's not really a fight, just a kind of more like a heavily scripted sequence where you like turn on the power and stuff. But like
Yeah, like
almost that
when you open the
entire,
roof, you mean?
yeah, almost all of that could
Yeah.
work. Obviously, there's still cutscenes and stuff, but I just mean like the actual gameplay itself is so similar. It doesn't even really feel like Leon was intended to be in the game from that point, and then after that, it feels like they had him very heavily in mind. But maybe that would explain why Grace was barely in the game afterwards, because they're like, oh, we want to make it up to people who wanted to play as Leon. Because something me and Frebby noticed, we're like, dude, you only got to play as like Leon for like 30 minutes leading up into the first half of the game, which is kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was under the impression that it was
Yeah.
gonna be much more like Code Veronica, where like you get like a huge play box of like you do this and then you switch to the other character Code Veronica style. But instead, what it really feels like is that for Grace's section, you kind of do Grace, small Leon bit, Grace, small Leon bit, huge Grace section, small Leon bit, Grace section, and then you play as Leon for the majority of the game. Like it was just very weird. So I'm not complaining. I actually did like Grace's gameplay. I just think it just comes down to that, like, even though I know a lot of people have been quick to compare it to Seven, but I think the problem is that you didn't have switching to another character in mind. Like you knew it was gonna happen at some point, and the fact that you knew that you were gonna clean up the areas and kind of took away like quite a bit of the horror from that area. So if Seven's like a scare in terms of scary up here, I would say Requiem feels like it kind of teeters on like quite a bit lower, even though there are a lot of wonderful elements in it. And then
I definitely got jump scared a few times. I don't know if it was just because I was on edge because it was my first time playing. That happens to
yeah,
me sometimes. But I did get the game did jump scare me well a few times. And I think the whole section at the beginning, when you're just trying to get the fuse and get out into the main area of the
hmm
care center, I think that was pretty cool. Like where you're just running away from Big Mama. Her name is actually just the girl, I think, in the game, right?
yeah, which is kind of
Um,
dumb.
it's a little silly of a name, but sure. Uh, to be fair, I don't think Big Mama really works as her name because I think like it's not confirmed or anything, but I think it's implied that she's like one of the
hmm
like the Grace clones or whatever. Like
I think the final puzzle is going to
Serpent
play
Lord was
into that
saying that
too.
he
By the
thinks
way,
yeah, it still hasn't been solved, has it?
it's
I was googling it. I couldn't. I found that people like put a bunch of clues together, but it still didn't lead to anything.
keep in mind from what it seems like it's Call of Duty Zombies, where it is just the most obtuse and like random crap ever to solve it. Like it's a full on like Easter egg that people have to solve. So I wouldn't be
It
surprised if that
reminds me.
is what's up.
I think Silent Hill endings are kind of like that sometimes too, or like Silent Hill 2. I know there's like seven endings, something like that,
hmm
and I think some of them are like kind of like that, where it's like a small little things you have to find throughout the game, but it's all throughout the game, and you have to get all of it in order to actually figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
it might be something like that.
Also, something that me and LED were talking about is how I feel like this game kind of half-asses both being a first-person game and a third-person game at the same time. Like, I just don't really feel like they picked a lane. Like, I was under the impression that I was gonna feel much more like a first-person game, but in reality, it feels like first-person feeling with a third-person coat of paint. Like, it's very clear from like the idle animations and like holding whatever that like the actual animations themselves are more geared to third-person, but the actual like feeling of playing it feels much more like sluggish, like RE7 and 8 gameplay. Like even as Leon, it's kind of distracting.
I think you can very clearly tell that Grace's was made to be first person and Leon's was made to be third person.
His
Just because
movement is still
Leon's is so
sluggish as hell,
action
though.
heavy. Well, a little bit, but I think like because his movement like and his attacks are so action heavy, his kicks and stuff, it keeps switching to third person anyway. So you can tell that it's not really made to be first person, right?
Oh, I don't mean to. I don't
And
mean
with
to.
Grace, like there's cutscenes
Uh
that
huh.
make her that like there's cutscenes where it is first person too. You know,
I think my problem
sorry, what were you
with
saying?
oh, when I say first person feeling, I mean like the sluggish movement and like the way that you fire weapons. Like it feels a little
Hmm.
bit clunkier because that's something that's been more of a hallmark of 7 and 8 rather than the third person games, and that's what surprised me so much from what I've seen people say online. Like almost no one is complaining about how sluggish Leon feels to play compared to like RE4. I have given that game a lot of crap, and I feel like this is like low key my apology run for that game because everything that game did
It
right
feels
was
really slow.
it is a huge downgrade compared to it. And you can tell it's because the 7 and 8 devs were like trying to make him feel like a third person character, but the problem is that it's still too much tied to being like a first person feeling sort of game. It might have the third person
Mhm.
animations, just the way that like Leon's type of gameplay, but it still feels like you're playing like a first person character, if that makes sense. And I think that's the problem.
I kind of get what you mean. I would say that um, there's different moments of the game where first person feels so slow, and there's other moments of the game where it feels fast, and
Mm,
then same thing for third person. Like there's some sections where you actually feel pretty fast. Like in Leon's section in the RPD when you're running away from the tyrant, I felt pretty fast running away from him. But uh and then in Grace's section in third person when you're running away from Big Mama, you feel pretty fast, but then she also stumbles, right?
yeah.
And she like falls on the floor. And so at different moments you feel faster than other moments, right? I just wish it was like a little bit more consistent with that because it just feels really slow when that's not the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's been a huge complaint for 7 and 8, and while I don't think it's a big deal in 7, I definitely did feel the movement speed like being slow more so in 8 if I'm being honest. And it seems like they continued the trend into Requiem.
Hmm.
Because you gotta
Yeah.
remember,
In
like,
RE4 remake, Leon is pretty fast. Like I just wish he was like a little bit faster there. Like more akin to like his speed in that game.
yeah, well, I would still say that the remake still like the player speed is still kinda I wouldn't say slow, but sluggish is probably the better word for it. Where like if
For
you play
remake though, he's
like
definitely a lot faster
well, I'm not saying he isn't
than in the
faster.
two.
I'm just saying that like I wouldn't say he's even slow per se, but he does feel sluggish from time to time.
Sure.
They made his movement seem more realistic, which is honestly one of my bigger complaints with that game is the fact that Leon often feels kind of unresponsive when it comes to like dealing with huge crowds of enemies in professional. Um So yeah, and then unfortunately, the difficulty of this game is very lopsided. Like there was so many times where it felt way too easy, and other times, like the mortar section, where they threw way too much at you at the same time. Like it took me 2 deaths to realize you could just beeline it straight for the mortar with the suicide bomber, and then if you just took out the guy that was next to the mortar and then just killed the suicide guy, you could kill the most annoying enemies with the mortar and then clear it out. But that's my problem is that Resident Evil should not feel like some third person slop series, and I feel like there are some moments in this game where it gets way too close to feeling like some random third person slop, like you know 3.5 out of 5 like third person game rather than a Resident Evil game.
Sure. Yeah. I can get that. I th- I think the uh the difficulty is one of my biggest problems with the game. I have no problem with the game being challenging. I have a problem with the game being unfair. I have a lot of notes about the difficulty. Espe- I wrote so many notes about, or not so many, but I wrote quite a bit of notes specifically about insanity mode. And I didn't even finish it. I played it for like 2 hours ish, two and
Yeah,
a half hours maybe. And I was like, I was done with this shit, dude. It was so
yeah.
annoying. Let Okay,
Okay, okay. So I know you have way more thoughts.
if you
Can I
want to say
just
something,
like say
yeah,
my brief thoughts because like I promise you it's
yeah,
gonna be way
yeah.
more.
Go ahead.
It's probably gonna be way more brief than you. I think
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
reason why I'm saying that the difficulty in this game feels really lopsided is because I don't mind a game being more challenging on standard. I think RE4 Remake, clearly a lot of people have said that, like, the challenge of that game is pretty tough.
It's
And even
definitely
on
pretty
like,
challenging. Yeah.
yeah, in RE7, I would say actually, I know RE2, it's not normal isn't even that bad. I would say hardcore is probably feels more normal in my opinion than normal, but in RE7, like normal felt a tad bit easy, and then Madhouse had a really good difficulty. But my point is that standard classic is gonna be the difficulty a lot of people play, just because casual is way too easy in this game. It is way too easy, and then you have standard classic, which parts
I
of
wouldn't
it.
say it's too. I wouldn't say it's too easy. I think it's actually pretty fun to play casual. To be fair, I didn't use any healing items when I played casual today, so that's probably why I had more trouble. But it's not too, you're right. It's definitely not hard like at all. But I think I had the most fun playing on casual just because on the other difficulties it just felt too hard at times. Like a standard classic wasn't too hard. It was just like sometimes the enemies were very bullet spongy, and the
Which
blister
is
heads especially were really annoying.
which that segues
um,
into my next point, is that playing
yeah.
this game felt like playing RE4 Remake on professional, just not exactly professional. The best way to describe it is that it almost feels like a weird in between of standard and hardcore, and then it kind of like leans into hardcore from time to time. Uh, I feel like enemies are way too bullet spongy, and like they made some of them really fast. So it's another RE4 problem where you have to prioritize weapons that have a lot of damage. Like I gravitated towards the semi-auto silent sniper, which dude on level 2 damage it either one or two shot at enemies, which is great. So
Mhm.
basically, I wasn't even engaging with most of the game's weapon sandbox because the guns were either too bad or they needed too many shots to kill an enemy. Like the SMG, the whole point of why, which you were actually talking about this on your stream, but the whole reason why the TMP was good is because it was so good at staggering. And the problem is in this game is that you have to upgrade the damage just to barely make it viable with the rest of your arsenal. So
Yeah,
that is kind of
this
cringe.
might be the worst submachine gun in any Resident Evil game.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
the
It's
Uzi.
so bad.
And
I
then
hated it.
the other one was just painfully mid, if I'm being honest,
I
because
didn't
that's
try the other one. Like the one that you buy, I didn't try. I only tried the one that you
it's
can
probably like a
just
C tier weapon, if
naturally
I'm being
get.
honest. Like across
I did not enjoy it.
yeah. And then I'll probably say that because I'm just comparing RE4 Remake's Arsenal to this, and then the semi-auto sniper literally falls into the same problem that the bolt action sniper gets, where it's like it's so good above the entire meta that there's almost no reason to use most of your other guns. Uh the alligator snapper is one of the worst pistols that Leon has ever used in a Resident Evil game, and I will stand by that
That's the
point.
first one you get, right?
Yeah.
The first gun you had,
Yeah, the
yeah.
alligator
That
snapper.
one was not very good. I liked the silencer one. I think it was what was it called? Was it just called the silencer? It was something like that. I don't know.
I've been using it on my
But
insanity
that one
run,
I liked.
and it's a lot better so far.
It's pretty good, yeah.
But anyway, basically, I'll leave it off here. But my point is that they took way too many cues from RE4 Remake's Professional when they should have at least made normal feel more like RE4. And that's a big problem that RE4 Remake has, is that like it feels like it pushes you into using the game's metas rather than just trying to have fun with the guns in the game. So yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
you take it away, bestie.
Okay. So insanity difficulty. A difficulty I played for about 2.5 hours. I didn't even get halfway through the care center. I think I got to Chunk. Like when he comes out of the upstairs door where you get the corrosive. I got him to come out of there, and then I got back to I forgot what room it was, the one where there's the organ. There was two zombies still in there. I
Mm-hmm.
luckily ran past them, and then Chunk came into and then Chunk got like he shows up in that hallway.
Yeah.
Um, so I my problem was that I forgot that he was going to be there. So then I had to run back into the room that I just came from. You know, the room where there was two zombies still there.
Yeah.
I want you to understand. I was at full health. I was fine. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When I ran back into the room, a zombie grabbed me. Him just grabbing me, not even like biting me, nothing like that. Just grabbing me brought me down to caution. Okay? Then, less than half a second, not exaggerating, less than half a second later, I was down at danger, and then he bit me, and then I died. One zombie attack killed me in one hit. Not literally one hit, but just one zombie
Yeah.
grab killed me. And I didn't have a defense item, so I couldn't get him off of me. One zombie killed me from full health. Like maybe I was like lower on fine than I thought I was, but if you're at fine, one zombie should not just insta kill you.
Yeah,
I
I
think we can
mean,
all agree on that, no matter what the difficulty is.
that seems very reminiscent of a clip I saw online where that part where like the first what is it called? Freaking, you know, the part where like the zombies rise out of the like warehouse with the sand in it, and then like they come up,
Yeah.
and then you can like go on like
In the Raccoon City section?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you know the part where you like shoot down the box and you go up there? This dude was literally hit by a zombie, and as he was falling, he was losing health as he was falling, and he stopped losing health when he hit the ground. Like, why does this game have so many moments of like bullshit like that, bro?
Yeah, I experienced that a lot too, where a zombie hit me really hard, and you can see that your health is going down slowly, and you think that you're just going down to danger, but then by the time your health is all the way down, you're just dead.
Yeah.
Like it makes you think that you're still alive, and then you're just not. Also, I would just like to say, um, there was one thing that I wanted to say. Shit, I lost it. There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, there was at the beginning of my game. Oh yeah, but after that zombie killed me in one hit, that's when I gave up. That's when I stopped playing. I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm gonna stop now, and this is why I was at full health. Anyway, also in my insanity playthrough, in the Renwood section where you are right now, shit ton of blister heads for some reason. I feel like it's kind of
That's
weird.
that's
I feel like it's
underselling it, honestly.
dude. First of all, the blister heads appearing naturally already kind of annoying because they're zombies that are already killed.
Well, it's because
They
they're
shouldn't
balanced
appear
horribly, though.
naturally. Yeah, I just feel like they shouldn't appear until after a zombie has died. If you want to make a zombie turn into a blister head immediately, that's a little that's going a little far, but I'll accept that. A blister head appearing naturally, that's a little too far.
Well,
But
do you mind if I just like a
I
little footnote
yeah,
before you
yeah, yeah,
continue?
go ahead.
So my
Yeah,
problem with blister heads is the fact that unlike Crimson Heads in remake RE1 remake is the fact they're
yeah.
glass cannons. They are super powerful, aggressive, but they are not super durable. Like they are still, you can
They're
still
more
put them
durable than
down.
normal zombies. They're more durable than normal zombies, but not by a huge margin. Like
I would
they're
actually
not super.
I would actually argue that they're not even that durable. They might be less durable than a normal zombie. At least in my
No,
experience, I was able
I
to.
definitely had some. I definitely had some experiences where like a zombie would die in one shotgun blast, and then a crimson head, if it's not headshotted, it would die in like two usually.
Well, keep in mind that like the type of gameplay I would have is just like being able to shoot a zombie like point blank range with the shotgun and take him out pretty easily.
Yeah,
So
that's
unless you're
usually what I
playing
did too.
hard,
But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't blow his head off though.
yeah. But my point is
Every once
that
in a while.
so either it doesn't really matter who which of us is right because the point is that the Crimson Heads in that game, the whole point was that they were beefed up zombies, but they weren't like super durable zombies. And I think making them so they have the health of like 5 zombies in one is just absolutely ridiculous. But oh look, the caveat is if you stun them, then you can get the insta kill on them with the axe. That is stupid. Okay, all it encourages you to do is hold off on the other blister heads as you literally just parry one and then just go like, what? Which is stupid. It almost like entirely makes the gunplay of the game and like entirely pointless, except for bosses, which is stupid. Sorry, you can continue, but I just want to point that out because that's one of my biggest problems with the gameplay currently.
I'm glad actually you brought that up because I personally don't mind that, like being able to insta kill them with the hatchet. What I do have a problem with is the fact that on Insanity, I managed to stun them. I managed to hit them with the hatchet right in the head, and then I back up, start fighting a different one, and then that one gets up. This is a blister head.
Yeah.
I stab him in the head with a hatchet, which is normally an insta kill move, and then he gets back up. He's perfectly fine. He's not even dead.
Uh,
That literally happened to me a couple
I'm gonna
times.
be honest, that hasn't happened to me yet, so maybe that will, but I will say that it feels like some blister heads have more health than others, so I'm
For
not gonna
sure,
say
yeah.
that that's not possible. I'm just gonna say that that hasn't happened to me, but it's very easily like very easily possible for sure.
That's believable, yeah, based on the game's track
Yeah.
record. Um, there, but what I was gonna say was that during that opening Redwood section,
Hmm.
when I was fighting a bunch of blisterheads, I was already having trouble with it, so I went back to the shop box thing, and I bought a shotgun because I'm not beating the blisterheads without it. Because my
Yeah.
gun is ass, I need a better one. So I go buy that shotgun. I come back. I managed to survive this, and during that attempt, I managed to survive. But on my way to survival, something very interesting happened. You know how the Blizzard has to have that move where they're
Yeah.
where they just like they attack like a
So
clicker
good.
kind of,
Hmm.
which they basically are a clicker. This I talk about that a lot in my streams. The game feels very Last of Us coded.
I agree.
There's a lot of Last of Us stuff, especially the bloater things. But it's basically attacking like a clicker, right? And when it does that, usually you can parry. I didn't try to parry. I had my shotgun in my hand. So I shoot it in the like right here on the zombie's body. I shoot it right here with the shotgun. I saw where the shot landed. I know it landed. I know it hit there. It didn't stumble a tiny bit. A shotgun blast right here, and it kept attacking.
Yep.
And when you shoot, there's like a brief period where you can't parry. Like you're just like stuck in the animation. So no matter what I did, what even if I knew that that wasn't going to damage him, I would not have been able to parry that. Like there was nothing I could do against that. I managed to survive, but barely. And that's just that, especially that is just not fair. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Adding on to that, an attack that I was really not fucking with, if I'm being honest, is that like normally if a zombie like almost grabs you, like you'll like shamble past him, but with blister heads,
Yeah.
if that happens, they don't do that. They just bite your shoulder, which is super bad because that does way more damage than a standard attack from the front, even if it's also a bite. So
I don't remember that. I might not have had that happen, but I will say I really hate that even if you escape a zombie's grasp, it still does damage to you. That's just stupid.
mhm.
Like you're literally escaping it. Why are you taking damage from it winning?
Well,
You
to
know
be
what I mean?
fair, RE4 Remake had a lot of problems with that, which ironically, the only thing that didn't have a problem with that is the bear trap, which did happen in the original. So it was like the cost of like the trade-off of not taking damage to a bear trap was like, Ganato's grabbing you and doing a shit ton of damage, like a fifth of your health or something, which is honestly stupid.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't know.
definitely had some problems with that on professional RE4. But the difference is, at least if you escaped their grasp, they didn't do damage to you. Them grabbing you, sure, did a lot of damage, but you escaping their grasp, they did no damage. You were perfectly fine. In this case, if you're playing on insanity and you're at full health, if they grab you but you escape their grasp before they bite you, you go down to caution somehow.
Yep.
Like you go all the way down. It's just not fair. It's not a balanced difficulty at all.
Well, I just think the problem is that they wanted to take a lot of cues from RE4 Remake, which is okay. That's not the problem. The problem is
For
that it
sure.
is in terms of gameplay, by the way, because I do feel like this is true. It is objectively worse than RE4 Remake, and it feels
Yep,
objectively worse. And because
for
it's
sure.
slightly more unbalanced, like on the harder difficulty, it feels worse to play. Like I honestly,
Hmm.
I don't think I have a huge problem with blister heads being insta killed. My problem is that they have way too much health. Like if there's going to be a different way to deal with them, it shouldn't be that is the only way to deal with them without wasting 50 handgun bullets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it'd be different if they were just like twice the health of a zombie. Like, okay, if I have time, I might be able to just parry them and then go straight for the kill. But the problem is that, like, it feels like it is the only way to properly deal with them. And the game doesn't teach you that at all. Even in the main game, the first time you learn about parrying is during the Mr. X fight, and the game is built around the parry option being half of your arsenal, which is dumb.
Wait, really? It
Yeah.
never teaches you how to parry?
Well, that's what LED said, and now that I think about it, I don't remember a parrying prop coming up. So I'll take his
I don't
word.
remember. I mean, I was parrying the whole time. To be
Well,
fair, the
yeah,
parrying is very janky in this game. It's a
yeah,
little annoying, but um, But I was parrying before that. But now that you say that, I don't remember a parrying prompt before that. Maybe there was and we just missed it, but I don't
Yeah.
remember it just off the top of my head.
Because at least with RE4 remake, like I feel like they did a pretty good job of explaining what the parry did and what you could use against it, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. I haven't played with like tutorial pop-ups in a while, but like at least just from like a first playthrough standpoint, like I think I was getting very frustrated about the pairing system just because it was my first time with the game like that, so it was just leading to more frustration. But I can't say that like it's not like the game didn't introduce it. I think the game could have done a better job explaining what things are only perfect parryable, like the punches. I think you can only perfect parry that if I'm not mistaken. Uh and there are a few weird
I
things
don't
like that,
know.
but other than that, I think RE4 Remake did a generally good job. Not like an amazing job, but a generally good job of explaining it. I think Requiem fails on almost every forefront in terms of like the pairing because it's an even more important tool than RE4 Remake, but is also like in terms of like presentation and showing you how to use it is sidelined way more than it ever was in RE4 Remake, which is part of the
Hmm.
reason why the game feels way more difficult because in RE4 you're like, okay, well, grabs and punches, you can't really parry that in RE4, but and then in Requiem, I didn't realize until like pretty late into Leon's gameplay that you could parry zombies trying to grab you or hit you.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that is a huge departure from what was possible in RE4 remake. So I think I actually would have done a lot better if I knew that in advance.
Yeah, that's a problem we had when we played Outbreak together. It's like there's a lot of stuff in the game, like mechanics, that you kind of just have to figure out by yourself. But the problem is that they're new things that weren't in the previous Resident Evil
And
games
they're
up until
imperative
that
to your
point.
survival too.
Yeah, and the game doesn't teach you. You just have to figure it out. It's kind of like that where it's like it's a really important mechanic, but you just have to accidentally do it one day, and then you're just like, oh, I can do
Yeah,
that, cool, and then you start doing it more, but you don't realize that you can until so late.
I agree. And then it's weird because like I know we've been, just ranting about Leon stuff, but Grace's gameplay is generally good. Like I think it is a
Yeah.
huge improvement on like RE7 because if you go to a lot of criticisms of that game, it's the fact that the molded aren't responsive and the fact that you don't really fight a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Hmm.
fights between them are pretty stagnated and like it feels like really only a couple encounters with the four-legged molded feel like really really annoying, which those have always been one of my least favorite enemy types because they have simultaneously more health than regular molded, but if you get a good headshot then they insta die, which you know, considering how many great things that game does, it's kind of crazy that like the four-legged molded in that game is so unbalanced. Like if they could have made it so you could have like, maybe shot one of their legs because they're so fast, you actually almost do it all the time. But when you shoot it, they just blow up. That actually would have balanced them pretty well. Like a simple change would have balanced them. But
Yeah.
anyway, my point is that Grace's gameplay with like shooting down zombies and pushing them and stealth killing them, all of it feels really good. I'm just sad we didn't get more, if that makes sense. Like really,
Sure.
what it comes down to is like my biggest complaints with both styles of gameplay is that Leon's is way too much of a departure from RE4 remake and does simultaneously less than that game did and more in all the wrong ways. And then Grace is an absolute improvement over Ethan's gameplay in 7 and 8, but also, excuse me, you really don't play as her long enough to like fully appreciate all those mechanics. Like it's not till like the end of the clinic section that you're pretty much like it's pretty much like her gameplay is just over. You know what I'm saying? Like you have like two
The
smaller
most part,
sections
yeah.
coming up, but like I wouldn't really argue that like they're that fun if I'm being honest. Like the underground area was like kind of cool the first time, but once you realize that it's so heavily like linear that it's just not really that fun. And same with the arc like part that
Hmm.
like I feel
Yeah.
like what should have been probably even like the best part of the game kind of gets like it's kind of gets muddled quite a bit.
Sure. Yeah. One thing that I will say about Grace's gameplay is I actually like that she can melee, but it's not like a punch or a kick. I like that it's just a push. I think that's a
Yeah,
cool idea. I I think it's kind of weird that like nobody else could do that, but the most wimpy character in the entire series can.
yeah,
Um, one thing I will say is that if they end up remaking like Code Veronica, I feel like it would make a lot of sense if they incorporated that in some way, since
Mhm.
Claire in that game is a lot more like badass and stuff that she is
Yeah,
than she
especially
is in
since
like RE2.
it's much more action focused too. I feel like it'd be a great fit for
Mhm.
her.
Yeah, and I feel like she could you could add even kicks for her like in RE4, which I wouldn't mind.
I feel like that might be a little too far. I think the pushes are perfectly
Maybe.
serviceable, just like a more
Yeah,
confident push.
I think that kicks could work for her. I'm not saying I would prefer that, but I think that it could work. But at the very least, I think like a some type of melee, like a push, would work really well in that game. I think they could definitely do that.
What I don't understand is Grace is that like you pretty much summed up everything wanted to complain about with like the whole zombies grabbing you thing because like what made RE7 so fair in my opinion was the fact that you had this amazing tool with the block. You know, there wasn't even a window for it. Like you could just do whatever you wanted to. But also it came at the downside like you literally couldn't do anything else. But with Grace, it goes back to the RE2 style where like you're just kind of shit out of luck if something grabs you, and you kind of like it. Well, in that game you weren't forced to take damage, but unfortunately in this game you are. Uh, so if I were to change it, I think what I would have done is either made it so uh melee weapons you can parry or like block with them, like in RE7, or made them more useful as a defensive item. Because as I see it now, I feel like the game almost encourages you almost to never get grabbed or bitten. And there was times where I actually reloaded a save where I was like, I could do this slightly better. Not often or anything like that, but like at least like 4 or 5 times throughout my entire run as
Hmm.
Grace, and that was still like several hours, which I feel like is too much. Like
Yeah.
I never felt that way while playing RE7, even though I wasn't even that good at blocking at first. And I think that maybe changing a few things about her gameplay could have gone a long way for sure.
Um. One thing going back to the insanity difficulty.
Oh dear, I can see the
Um.
light from your monitor.
You
That's how I
can
know
see
it's
that
getting serious.
I pulled up my Google Doc.
Okay.
Um. So I obviously we talked about how tanky the zombies are, right? They're
Hmm.
already tanky on the normal difficulties, but on insanity, it's so bad. Like the zombies, you have all you have at your disposal is one pistol and a requiem with one bullet. You can make some ammo for it, but not very much of it. Um,
Oh, can I interject? Are
Especially
ink
not early.
ribbons?
Yeah,
Do you have to save with ink ribbons on Insanity?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just curious.
And you get very limited of those too, so you can't really use much of the blood on the ammo either. And you're not given very much of the ammo.
Okay.
Um, but the problem with insanity and with the normal zombies is you can barely take out one normal zombie, and there's a lot of instances where there's a bunch grouped together. Um, Now, if you have the Requiem on you, do that obviously, right? But if you don't, or if you already used the ammo for it, you're kind of screwed because there's not really much you can do, like
Okay.
to defend yourself. There was one part where, like before I gave up on my insanity playthrough, I was in Gideon's office,
Okay.
and you know how there's two zombies outside of it?
Hmm.
You remember that? There, one zombie I killed with the hemolytic injector. I think that's what it's called. But
Hmm.
the other zombie, when the zombie blew up, it stunned that other zombie. So then I ran into the office, and the zombie followed me in. I had to deal with that section like 3 times, maybe more than that,
Okay.
because um I tried killing I was I managed to kill the one zombie pretty consistently, but there were a couple times when the explosion didn't stun the zombie, and there were other times when it did, but
Hmm.
my ammo's not strong enough with that gun to actually even kill this zombie. Shooting him in the head didn't work very well. Shooting him in the legs sometimes did, but then eventually he got too close again. Um, and it just tanks so much of my ammo. Like I definitely am. I'm not super good at like the aiming in this game. I don't know why. Like I'm pretty good with RE4 remake, even on controller. So I don't know why I took a hit with this game.
Well, it's just
That part is definitely a skill issue.
I'll explain
That's my
later.
problem.
I think I think I have a theory.
Okay. But yeah, that's mostly my problem. But I will say, even without missing a shot, it takes at least like 10 bullets to down a zombie, and I feel like that's a little too far, especially with how fast they can move, because you won't have enough time to actually get them downed before they can get to you. Even just one is a problem. So
Yeah.
having like 5 in one area is a really big problem.
Hmm. So usually I think the reason why I'm actually worse with the third person games is because like the area of effect, rather than being like this big, the 7 and 8 feel like they're only like this pretty much in terms of like the center of your screen with what you need to shoot. Uh
Mhm.
so that's probably wise because you have to make much more calculated like almost like flicks, I guess is they would be the accurate like thing, which is
Yeah,
kind of hard
yeah,
to
I
do
get
on
what
a
you mean.
controller. But for me, I've already gotten so used to enemy patterns. Like for me, it's kind of like just a muscle memory of when to do it rather than actual aiming skill. So I think if I was
Yeah, the
playing on
zombies in this
controller,
game are really unpredictable though.
I mean the zombies are in this game really are unpredictable. But yeah.
Yeah. That's one problem with my aiming skills. Like I'm definitely like not very good at the aiming in this game, but I think a large part of that is just because the zombies are really unpredictable and I don't know where they're going to move at any given time.
Hmm. Oh
I
yeah, can we
think
talk about how the zombies have so much personality, and then you get to Leon's section, and then they just do fuck all?
the I really okay, see, I think the care center is one of the best areas in like any Resident Evil game.
Hmm. Okay, here's the
I think
thing.
it's really, really well
I just like to
designed.
I just like to preface, even though I don't agree, I can at least see where you're coming from
Mhm.
and definitely agree with some of the points you're making. Just letting you know because I probably will ramble
Yep.
a bit about some sections, but please continue.
So I think the area is really well designed.
Hmm.
The puzzles are really well designed. The zombie placement is so ass. I have to be honest. And I don't mean just like all of them. I just mean the beginning.
Yeah.
Because all you have at your disposal is one requiem shot.
Hmm.
And then you can go pick up like one makeshift knife. And then you can pick up a gun. And then you can pick up 2 bullets. And then you can pick up eight bullets. The problem is, on Insanity, that first gun that you would normally find in the dining room, it's not there. It's somewhere else.
Mm.
That gun, where is that gun? I'm trying to remember. I think it's somewhere on the east side of the building, I think.
East? Okay,
Um,
what the hell?
yeah, I think it's the room with the noisy zombie. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, but like
Yeah.
where you go through as Grace, like when you have to get Emily to the area and you have to bypass Chunk, that room. Uh there I think that's where the gun is, meaning the only other gun is in the bar and lounge, which is after which is after at least one zombie that you cannot avoid, which is the one on the stairs. And
Yeah.
if you only have one requiem shot, there's not really much you can do against that. Unless you just want to waste that requiem shot. And then if you waste that requiem shot, you can't kill the zombies and get to the gun, right?
Hmm.
And then by that point, you don't even have enough ammo to stop the zombies as they're coming towards you. Um, so overall, that whole section just felt really unfair to me, especially on Insanity. And even on Standard, like it still felt like you could get past it, but it just felt like they were throwing a little bit too much in your face to
Hmm.
the point where it's like you don't have enough to deal with all of this without taking at least some damage. And that was a big problem I had. After that section, I didn't have too many problems.
Hmm.
Like once you get both guns and once you open up the area a little bit more, by then I don't mind too much. But the very beginning of the care center, that part I just did not like at all.
I think okay, so I definitely do agree that the care center looks really cool and parts of it are well designed. I think where my problems lie is the fact that like you can tell they took a lot of it took a lot of inspiration from the Spencer Mansion, but also bits and pieces from the RPD as well. But what made
Mhm.
those areas work so well is that there wasn't so many areas where you were forced to go into the same like pathway as a zombie. Like there's like I feel like the amount of like rooms where you can like properly loop zombies and also like avoid taking damage is way too small. Like for instance, right? I think a great room to just give an example on is on the east wing how there's the reception thing and then the door that's locked from the other side. That room, they want you to like loop zombies, but at the same time, there isn't enough like actual like area to do it properly. Like it feels like
You mean
really
the area with the noisy zombie, the one that I was talking about before?
uh I think so. Well, that chick's on the second floor.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
talking
safe
about
in that
like
room.
that's
No, not the bar and lounge. The area on the east side,
well,
like
there's a safe in
straight
that
ahead.
room, but it's already open, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
and there's also a note about this about the safes too.
Yeah, that's the room I'm talking about. So
Yeah,
my
that's the
problem
room I'm
with
talking about.
the rooms in this game is that the zombies are too tanky, so you're forced to shoot them. Like it really feels like they wanted you to really shoot a lot of zombies in this game. Because like in
Mhm.
RE2, it did not feel good at all to shoot zombies. Not in the way that you think. I'm not saying that the gunplay isn't satisfying. I mean in the survival horror sense that like you're wasting ammo, like precious resources. But I feel like in this
Yeah,
game, I never really got that feeling whatsoever. Like,
I
sure, I
always
was
got the
like,
feeling of like I have no ammo to deal with
yeah,
this. It was
exactly. I
more
was
so
like,
frustration than fear.
it was more so like, oh shucks, I'm getting low on ammo. Like, it didn't feel like, oh no, biting my teeth, like, damn, I might actually be running a little too low on ammo here. Like, it really did feel like a more like curated experience where you kind of knew what to expect when it came to like what resources you got. So I feel like that's probably another reason I wasn't like I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's already better than RE7. I think bits of it are, and I think some of the progression is kind of
Mhm.
neat. Don't get me wrong, but the whole anti-coin thing was just kind of weird. Where like there was only 4 things you could buy because obviously there
But there
really
was
wouldn't be
more
much
anti coins
afterwards.
than that. Yeah,
Yeah, there was way more anti-coins. Like when I saw
yeah.
the 4 slots, I was like, dude, we're gonna be able to upwards of 8 upgrades, but I don't think you're even supposed to go over 6. I think 6 is the max. So what's even the point of even showing those slots? You know? So I don't know. I just feel like I really like a lot of the ideas. It's just some of the execution kind of feels slightly lacking, even if it isn't bad. Like I would say that like if I were to rate the clinic as like a Resident Evil like play box or whatever, I would say 7's Baker Estate is probably like a 7.5. I'd say the RPD is like an 8.5, and I'd say that this is probably like a 6.5, honestly. Now,
Sure.
more so
Yeah.
towards like level design, but I don't know. I just feel like there was like it did feel like really random at the same time. Like that whole like thing with the zombie when you're in the parking lot and he just comes through like a wall with that one like construction thing, you know what I'm saying? Like the bulldozer
Yeah,
or
yeah, I know what
whatever.
you're talking about. Kind of like RE4.
Yeah, but it just felt so insanely random. Like it didn't feel like there was any buildup. Like it didn't even seem like there
Yeah,
was any like
where did that come from?
exactly. Like it's different because at least in like RE4, there's like some context clues and the area looks different. Like it feels like it fits what they were going for in that section. You might not like it, but at least like they
It
didn't
just
just like
like
happen.
it makes sense if
Exactly.
for it to be there of all places, at
hmm
least.
So while I do think parts of the care center are really, 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 really cool, and I did enjoy it overall, I didn't love it like I did like playing through RE7 and RE2, even to an extent. Even if I like RE2 isn't really my favorite game, I just feel like I'm more so of an RE7 enjoyer in terms of like that type of gameplay.
Hmm.
But I will give credit where credit's due for the RPD. It's just more so the latter half of the game that I just don't really find all that fun. Just
I
you
think
know
the
going through the
RPD
sewers
is
and the
my
lab. It's
personal
just
favorite area.
oh, which one?
I personally, the RPD is my favorite Resident Evil
hmm
area.
Oh yeah, it's a super sick
Like the
RE level.
remake one specifically.
I
Remake one
think
specifically, but the original one is actually really good too.
uh-huh. I think more like the RPD and like that little like the basement level of the RPD, which is I was almost kind of its own section and dealing with the whole prison thing, is neat enough. I've never really been a big fan of like the I guess the second and third act. I don't know if excuse me if you'd really call that. It almost just feels like the second half of the game. Excuse me, more so. Like I always just felt
I
like
didn't mind
the
those areas.
yeah, I just feel like the sewer was just a little too linear. Like it just like kind of like the whole underground area in Requiem, like it just feels like you play through it like the exact same time and you do not a whole lot of exploring and there's just not a whole lot of really cool things to see. So I don't know. That's why I'm not really a big fan of the whole underground section as Grace and also the Arc section. Like I really don't really I don't like replaying those parts of the game if I'm being honest. I don't think they're
Mhm.
bad by any stretch of the imagination. They just don't like engage. I just don't engage with them the same. I just don't really find them as fun.
I think one of the biggest problems that I had with the game was that you get so little ammo, but you get to craft some, right?
Mm-hmm.
but you have to balance what you're able to craft. And I think that whole blood mechanic was actually really creative, and I actually really like that mechanic. The problem is there's so many zombies around. I think Chunk and the chef were really cool enemies. I think they were really cool enemies to have in this area, in this location. I
Mm-hmm.
was perfectly cool with those. It was just the zombie locations that I had a big problem with,
Yeah.
and their tankiness. And the problem is that you very rarely had a lot of ammo. Like eventually you'd be able to craft a bunch, and then all of it would go away over time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really hard to conserve a lot of your ammo in this game. And the thing is that in like RE2 remake, that feels a little bit more punishing just because you have boss fights that you have to prepare for. So eventually you do build up your ammo, you get more guns, you get more ammo, all that stuff. In this game, you stick with like the same two guns the entire game, and there's no boss fights as Grace,
Yeah, the only thing that
which
like tried to be a boss
I
fight
felt
was
like
like the
that.
Big Mama section, but even then they
Yeah,
give you like 2 or 3 Requiem bullets, which like that's all you need for the section anyway.
yeah, that's all
So
you need. Yeah, like you basically just need like two or three of two or three of those
yeah,
bullets, and then you're good.
I think
And hopefully you have some saved up too.
yeah, I think part of the reason why RE2 fundamentally works so much better is that like for like shooting zombies and running past them or trying to dodge them like RE1 remake style, like it feels like you were stretching your resources as thin as humanly possible because zombies didn't take as many resources as a kill by kill basis. Like hardcore, zombies don't really put that much of a fight. You can kill most of them with like an entire handgun magazine, like almost an entire handgun magazine, sometimes way less if you get a critical. But I think in Requiem, the problem is that they made it way too tanky, so it feels like you're just naturally wasting way more resources, even though the game gives you way more to throw at them. I
Mhm.
just feel like if they would
Yeah,
have
I
made
don't
it,
mind as much.
yeah, if there was like
Sorry, you
ways to
go on.
properly dodge them or to make them like if they were more staggerable, and you could push them a lot easier, I think the game would probably play a lot better. Just make it so you can
Yeah,
do all that, give you slightly more like less resources, and I think the game would have probably played a lot better.
yeah,
Because the problem is that they wanted you to either expel all your ammo on zombies or to not use it at all, and just felt like really weird. Like if I'm being
yeah.
honest, it didn't even feel like a survival horror. It felt more like survival horror with light action. Like it didn't like you just killed so many zombies. Like you didn't even feel that scared after like exploring most of the West Wing.
Yeah, just my biggest problem is just that you barely ever have ammo, and it's to the point where in RE2, like you use all your ammo and you're like shit, because you know there's
Yeah.
gonna be a boss fight eventually. But you get more stuff over time, and you feel a little bit more safe. But then you get to the boss fight, and you're like, fuck, this guy's dangerous, right?
Hmm.
In this game, you use all of your ammo and you get no new guns, and it's to the point where you get frustrated that you don't have enough ammo to defend yourself, and then you're forced into scenarios where you have to use your ammo, like when you're trying to protect Emily, like when she's trying to do the code and you have to go fight the zombies. You have to kill those zombies. I mean, you don't have to kill them. Like eventually she'll finish what she's doing,
Yeah.
but
But
you'll
most of
probably
them.
die if you don't. You'll probably die if you don't.
Hmm.
And I struggled a lot on that part, even on casual, like just because I wasn't using healing items, and I had to fight against those zombies, and like I was running low on ammo because obviously as casual, I was trying to get as fast as I could. I was kind of skipping it past the ammo, so obviously that's on me for not getting more ammo, but it just feels like the fact that you're forced to fight zombies it's sometimes, and you have no ammo to deal with it. It's like you feel frustrated that you can't actually defend yourself, but also all the tension is gone that was in RE2 remake. And what I mean by that is you have no ammo to fight anything, which based on that, you yourself can infer, and also based on the fact that you play as Leon too in this game, you can infer that as Grace, there's not going to be a boss fight. So all the tension of, "Oh, no, I'm using all my ammo, what am I gonna do for the boss fight?" There's none of that because you
Yeah,
don't
I can see
expect
that.
there to be a boss fight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I guess I didn't really think about it. Like Grace doesn't even really have any boss fights, does she?
I don't think so. It's basically just the Big Mama one.
Yeah, and like that hardly counts. Like all you
That's
have to
not
do
really
is
a
use a
boss fight, yeah.
single like regular pistol bullet at the very end of it. That's the only required shot, which is kind of weird. And also I feel
Oh,
like
you can use a pistol bullet? I didn't even realize that.
yeah,
I've always just used Rec Room bullets. I probably should have saved more ammo.
I feel like the pitfall this game falls into way too often is that it feels way too roller coastery for like objectives. Like, did you notice that like okay, a great example of this is that the prelude to the spider boss fight where she pushes you through the wall, no matter how many bullets you put into the spider, no matter like what you do, it doesn't matter because all that was a waste for that. And there's like
Yeah,
so
you
many
just had to
different
be at the
things
end of
that
the
like
hallway by the end. Yeah.
exactly like you have to play by the game's rules and do things at the very second. Like do that, do this, whatever. But like even like in games on RE4 remake, it was much more like looser with the objectives. Like grab this and do this. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like you had to do X, 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 and X before you could get item. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Like, it almost feels like the game
I think
like was
so.
like kind of like railroading you into playing like per like the side objective basis, like being very like clear cut rather than just like grabbing items to like key items to do stuff. I don't know. I'm probably not explaining it well. There's probably a few more examples I could give,
I
but
think I
like
get what you mean.
oh yeah, another good example is that like when Leon like you turn on the generator for the camp and then you have to read the note. Like you can't just like turn on the generator and then turn on the button. Like there's a lot of moments like that where like even though you would never really do that on a second playthrough, the game forces you to.
Hmm. Yeah.
And another example is like the whole like the item like what the dev team if they were making this game around the time they made RE7, what they would have done is made it so you could crouch and then you could instantly like interact with the item rather than doing the whole flashback, which is really annoying on replay throughs because they required it to make it like require you to like play through like 2 minutes, which I know doesn't sound like a big deal, but people are complaining about 7 that there's a lot of scripted shit that you can't skip. So you know,
Yeah.
if they can complain about it there, I'm gonna complain about this. You know, I feel like at least with 7, most of it is pretty front loaded, and then like the game just like you know it takes you off the backpack, you know, collar or whatever, and then just lets you do your thing. But it feels like in this game that type of stuff is throughout the whole game. So
Did I mention during this stream that I found it weird that you were that you interrupted the RPD section with uh the orphanage flashback, or did I say that on my stream earlier
no,
today?
but that was just another moment where that was just highly unnecessary and is way worse than the Sherry segment from RE2. Because at least with the
Yeah,
RE2, it's pretty
it
short.
felt like it felt like it was like a spiritual successor to it, but it wasn't as well made. And I get what they were going for, and it was pretty creepy. But I think what made the Sherry section so good was that you were facing zombies or some type of monster throughout the whole game. They were monsters, not people. And now you're playing as a vulnerable child trying to escape a human, and this is like the first time in not only this game, but also most of the Resident Evil series. This is one of the first times when you've had to face off against a human who
Yeah.
was the monster. And when I say that, I mean like obviously we had Wesker, he is a monster and he is a human, but I mean like a normal guy that's not infected with anything.
Mhm.
He's not uh a virus or parasite or anything like that. He's literally just a normal guy. He's a police chief, which makes it even scarier because how did he get into power when he's this insane? And he's a monster going for you. And I think that's what made that section feel actually so terrifying. Just the fact that you were trying to escape this monster who was really just a man. The
Yeah.
thing about this section is that it felt like it was trying to capture that, but it didn't really understand what made that RA2 section so good. And yes, you're running away from these clones and they're really, really creepy for sure. But the problem is because they all look the same and because they are so creepy, you can tell that they are monsters. They're not just normal people.
Yeah.
So obviously Irons is a normal guy. That's what makes him so scary in that section. And the fact that he's gonna hurt you and you're just a little kid. Here, you're running away from actual monsters, which you've already been doing the entire game, right? So it just doesn't feel much uh like obviously you're vulnerable, you're still a little kid running away from these monsters, but it just doesn't feel quite as horrific, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Or it doesn't feel uniquely horrific, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I come from the opposition, which in terms of gameplay, it is a objective downgrade from the Sherry section too, because
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's really boring.
yeah. So remember
Most of it
how
is
I
just
said
you
like it
waiting.
feels like they're railroading you into playing the game a very specific type of way rather than just giving the objectives and kind of letting you go crazy.
Mhm.
Another great example of that is when you're supposed to run away from the door and then go back into the other room. I had a thought. I was like on my second playthrough on casual. I was like, why can't you just hide behind the first door that you close? And guess what? A little girl, she for some reason she walks out and then she consciously turns around and then finds you when that could have
Really?
just as easily been a way to skip that section and go straight to the bottom. Instead, they knew that players were going to try to play differently, and then they're just like, oh, yeah, no, you had to go under the bed to watch the entire sequence because that was very imperative to the gameplay. And then when you go downstairs, you have to hide under the thing. Then you go all the way, through the little C hallway, and then you have to turn back and go all the way back to the door. Then return all the way over there. They're dispersed, and then go to the key, pick it up, and then hide specifically under that one thing. And it's just terrible. It's all terrible. I never ever want to play that section again in my entire life. At least with the Shuri section, I was like, I mean, it's annoying, but like it could be worse. This is the worst, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The Sherry section is it's it's really cool on your first playthrough. When you're replaying it, it's not as good, but
Exactly.
it's still pretty tense. Like even if you know what's gonna happen, like it's one of those situations where it's like no matter how many times you do it, it's still pretty terrifying, like in
Hmm.
concept. Um, this one, it's like I said, it's just even though you are a normal kid and you're vulnerable, it's not unique.
Yeah.
So it just feels like the rest of the game, even if you're just running away from the enemies instead of actually trying to kill them. That's basically what you're doing the rest of the game anyway, because you don't have any ammo to kill the zombies. But like, like I said before, it's like the same thing. The thing with Irons is that he's a normal human, so he's uniquely terrifying, unique
Yeah.
compared to the zombies. He's a completely different threat. In this game, or in this case, these things obviously they are just kids clones, but like you can tell they're still the monsters. They still give a monster vibe. They don't give a normal human vibe. And
Hmm.
that's what makes them less scary. Just because you've already been facing monsters, it doesn't feel as unique. So the fact that in RE2, like replaying the game, even then it still is scary, even if you know what's going to happen. But here it's just like they're basically you do. You walk into a room, you run away from that room, you hide, and you wait for like a minute,
Hmm.
and then you leave. You go downstairs, you hide again. You don't even do anything else. You just hide again. After walking there, you hide again, and then you wait for them to leave another minute. Then you go into a hallway. There's kids there. They have to walk back into the main hall and then walk all the way back
For some
again,
reason.
and then they're gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And that's not very intuitive. It's just I just did that and I accidentally found out that they were gone.
Yeah.
Like I was
Apparently,
just
that's just the
looking
way you're
for
supposed to
most
do
of
it
the
too. Like
time.
maybe you don't have to run as far away, but it's clear that like you still have to run like slightly away from them and then come back, which is extraordinarily unintuitive.
Why not just make them go in or something?
Yeah, exactly. That's what
I,
almost
I
any
guess
other
because
game
they
would do.
I guess because they wanted you to go in and have them not be there. But also, where the fuck did they go? There's literally
Hmm.
nowhere they could have gone.
How much more did you want to talk about this section?
That section specifically, or just the whole
Or just
game?
that section?
I think I've gotten all my thoughts out on that. I think I repeated myself a little bit, but
Oh no,
but
you're
I
good.
hope my thoughts were
Well,
made
I was looking
clear.
at my Google Doc. I at least want to just talk about a few things on here, but I didn't want to like, I didn't know how much more you wanted to talk about that section. I mean, really, all it is like, then you go inside a weird church thing, and I don't know, it's also kind of dumb. But
Yeah, it was just really boring.
yeah. Um, and I guess we already talked about how the story really wasn't that good. Oh yeah, mercenaries, bro. I swear to God, the dude made it sound like there was gonna be some post game, like at least like a mini game of some sorts you could do. But it really sucks that it
Hmm.
seems like it might take a little while to get a mercenaries, which kind of seems like a missed opportunity considering that there's like such different gameplay like sections like Village, like you have your Ethan Winter sort of character and also your Chris Redfield sort of character, which is awesome. So the fact that we don't have like a mercenaries just it's a little disappointing because I feel like that's the game that definitely needed it the most.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like they'll probably do it at some point.
Hmm.
Same with like VR. I think they could definitely do that too. Especially because this game is already first person, so I feel like it wouldn't be that
Yeah.
hard to make a VR version of it. Um, and I really hope they do. Um, but I do just wish we had a little bit more of an idea of that because at the moment, all we have is the main story. Like, there's not really anything else we could do in the
Yeah,
game.
I think this game was so like ambitious in scope that unlike 7 where like they had a very clear cut development time for what they wanted to do, and then like maybe we'll do some DLC, and then once that was confirmed, like, hey guys, this is what the DLC cycle is going to look like. They even delayed not a hero, if I'm not mistaken, because they didn't feel like it was polished enough. So I mean, the fact that DLC was already kind of whatever, I'm kind of glad that it released like that rather than bad. But my point is that with this in Village, I feel like the 7, 8, 9 team have a really bad habit of kind of over promising what you're going to get with the game. Like, at least
Mhm.
with like RE4 Remake, I know people might point out, like, hey, the Mercenaries was kind of lacking and we didn't have Separate Ways yet. But, like, what we had post game wise, which I'd still say is fine enough for what we got, and we got a much needed upgrade at some point and Separate Ways, which added quite a bit to the game. My problem is with the 7 and 8 guys, starting with 8, they made it so there's almost nothing to do besides play the main story, which is contrary to how 2 and 4 are. And then they make it so the big thing comes out way, way later, like after most people like don't really play the game anymore. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of feels like a missed opportunity in my opinion, because people are going to engage with the game way less before they drop it before the DLC. Does that make sense? So I'm not even
Yeah, I
saying
get
like there has to be like an entire game after the DLC, but I mean like most people did not really give a shit about RE8's DLC, and it's to the point that even Handsome hadn't
because it's
played
not
it.
good.
Yeah, Handsome hadn't played it, and he literally thought that Ethan, like he didn't realize that like Grace was actually like not Ethan's kid, which I think is kind of funny. But my point is that like I feel like most people don't even know that Rose's like actual story was in 8 already. Is really what I'm trying to say, because it came way too late. But I don't know. Maybe I
Hmm.
could be wrong on that, but not whole lot of people talk about Shadows of Rose, so I could be like kind of cooking there too.
Yeah, because it's not very good.
Yeah, it's
I
worse.
just I
It's worse than
like
8
I don't.
somehow.
The thing is, I'm not super against there being no post main story content at the moment. I just wish we had an idea of when there would be more.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest
that would
problem.
help too.
Just that we have no idea if there was anything, if there's anything next. Like you never know. There might be no DLC, there might be no VR, there might be no mercenaries, there might be no nothing. We might have the whole game right here. You never know. Um,
Yeah,
I doubt that. I assume we'll get something, but at the moment we have no solid reason to believe we that we will. Um, I I feel like there's potential, maybe, but I don't know what they would follow up on. Like I don't know if it'll be maybe like have anything to do with Chris for some reason, or if it would have to do with more of if it would have to do with like the alternate ending maybe,
yeah.
which by the way sucks.
I told you.
The
I
alternate
told you,
ending
bro.
is
I told you.
the thing is it's not even like okay. Let me rant about this for just a second.
Go right ahead.
The thing is, I love the idea of destroying it or releasing it. The fact that releasing it, you cure Leon, day is saved, you have the final boss, it's all great. Final boss is just the RE3 remake boss, which is a little disappointing, but whatever. I can not really excuse that, but we'll move past that for right now because we're talking about this. Um, the problem is you have a dual choice here. You can choose to release it, which leads to the canon ending, or you can choose to destroy it, which leads to the non-canon ending. But when you have a dual choice like this, you'd think that both choices would be given the same amount of care.
Yeah.
But if you shouldn't have to feel like you chose wrong. Like obviously in the other ending, Leon dies, you don't want that to happen. That shouldn't that then you will feel like you chose wrong. But what I mean is it literally feels like a wrong choice. Like I feel like both endings should be given the same amount of care.
Kind of like RE7.
You know what I mean? Fair enough.
I will
But like
say
I just
the one
the
point that
thing is the
RE7
other ending
has
just doesn't
over.
have the other ending just doesn't have a boss fight at all, and the storyline isn't concluded at all.
Yeah. I
It's
think
just
what they
really
should have
lackluster.
done is made it so there was a boss fight with Zeno. If you like,
I
it's
agree.
Leon's last stand, and then like once he dies, like Leon can finally like actually, collapse and commit suicide or whatever. But
That's what I expected.
me too.
And then they both just fell and died.
As I said on release day,
And then the credits rolled.
the second ending of the game is so irrelevant. There's not even achievement for it.
Really?
Yeah, there's no achievement for it.
So dumb.
And then
I just feel like both should have been given the same amount of care, and that's clearly
yeah.
not the case.
I mean, even in RE7's alternate ending, you get an entire crowbar boss fight with Mia. Now, granted, it's literally just reused stuff from the beginning of the game, but I still think it's cool enough. I mean, you literally stab her with a crowbar. I mean, that's kind of neat.
Mhm.
No, granted, I'm not going to defend it and say it's amazing because they should have at least made Zoe survive. Like, the fact that she takes the injection and then still, like, crumples over is still extraordinarily stupid. I would have just made it so Zoe escapes with him. And then, like, at least
Yeah.
make it, like, somewhat valid. And then, like, oh, hey, even in the canonical one, at least both survive. But, like, the fact that just both die in the alternate one is just comically, like, stupid.
Yeah, it's like, then what's the point? Either one of them dies or both of them does.
Yeah.
Or both of them do.
I don't know. It's just
It
kind of
just feels
wacky.
pointless.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe if they developed it differently, like maybe the end of Zoe thing could have been end of Mia, depending on what was your last like ending you chose, which could have been kind of cool. Is like, the different
Yeah.
plot device for not Joe. Is it Joe Baker? Is that
Joe
that is
Baker,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Nemesis boss fight. Oh, you had some thoughts on that, didn't you?
So this was the first of, I think, 3 total things that were spoiled for me about the entire game.
Okay.
One was that someone's vacuuming and whatever.
I can barely hear it. You're
One
fine, man.
was one was that the final boss was basically the same as the RE3 remake boss.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't told that it literally was a nemesis. I was just told that it was basically the same kind of boss. I thought it would just be similar and that the final boss would just be like a big guy that you have to shoot certain spots. No, it's literally the exact same thing.
Yep.
He has the same moves, he has the same weakness. It's the same. There's a couple more things that he does, but it's the same thing. And it's even called a nemesis. What is it? Nemesis Gamma or something like that?
Something like that. And
I
even
think so.
Leon is just like, huh, looks like you're a nemesis or
A nemesis.
whatever. Like, how the fuck does he know that,
nemesis.
bro?
Yeah, I don't know. When
And then
did he see
also,
nemesis?
something that severely bugged me about the boss fight was that the weak spots were only to stun him in the boss fight in RE3 Remake. They couldn't even go that far. Like, there wasn't even, like, it just makes Jill look like a dumbass that she could have held out a little longer and just killed more of his weak spots and then fully killed him. I don't know. Like, a lot of things in this game just make previous actions look, like, insanely stupid just because they're done differently in this game.
I just feel like, okay, the biggest problem with RE3 Remake, not the biggest problem, but a problem with it, is the hardest difficulty. Sorry, no, the top 2 difficulties, Nightmare and Inferno, are
Being tough
both
as hell.
super unbalanced.
Yeah.
Both super unbalanced. I'm fine with them being hard, but they're unbalanced. It's not fair. But the most unfair part is that final boss.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard, but not even like that it's just hard for the sake of being hard. It's literally completely unfair. If you get hit once, you are stun locked or insta killed. One of the two or both.
Yeah.
Not, you can't do anything about it. You get hit once. And also, it has to be a perfect parry. Sorry, not a perfect parry, a perfect dodge. If
Yeah.
it's just a dodge and it's not a perfect dodge, you still get hit. That still counts. It has to be a perfect dodge. And the perfect dodges in that boss fight aren't too hard to do, but it's still punishing. Like
But the
that it
timings on
has to
some
be
of them are kind of rough
perfect.
too. Like sometimes you'll
Yeah.
like wait a second, you're like, whoosh, and then you're like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
sometimes you'll dodge too
So
early, and
annoying.
especially when you're learning the boss fight, you just feel like a fucking dumbass because the game
That
like is punishing you for not
that
knowing
was what killed
exactly
me
what
the
to do.
most.
Like, dude, I was like fully crashing out when on Inferno difficulty, I dodged eight at the same, like back to back without the Chris Redfield thing, and then he hit me because like sometimes like he can like segue into his next combo of attacks too quickly, and then that's when I crashed out and I was just like, I'm just using New Game Plus items, bro.
Yeah. I went. I when I couldn't beat him on Inferno, I went to the shop and bought defense coins, so I didn't get insta killed.
Yep.
And I still barely even beat it.
Hmm.
Um, but my point is that boss fight is super unbalanced, and that difficulty overall is super unbalanced. Problem is, this game doesn't learn that lesson. The hardest difficulty is super, super unbalanced. The final boss is the exact same in this game as the RE3 remake boss. I haven't played it yet on Insanity, but I can only guess that it's also super unbalanced.
It actually
And
probably won't be that hard because sorry, LED was telling me that apparently you can parry some of his attacks, by the way, the more
can
unpredictable
you?
ones. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't even try it, or maybe I did and I thought it didn't work or something.
The thing is, in this game, there's also not a dodge button. Like you just have
Yeah.
to run away.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying
And
it
when
isn't
you're
dumb.
aiming and
Like
trying to shoot him,
I think the problem
when you're
is
trying to
that
shoot him,
they
you can't really do
adapted
that.
a boss that very clearly comes from a different style of play. That being, you know, the more like floaty, like dodge heavy sort of game, rather than like parrying
Mhm.
everything and more like fighting head on. And
Yeah,
I
they're
think
not
both
compatible.
both have their place. Like an RE3 remake that actually was a faithful remake with that style of gameplay could have been one of the goats, but unfortunately that's just not what happened.
Mhm.
My problem has never been the way
Yeah,
that Jill played in that game, more so just her character. But the problem is that they adapted that sort of boss into this game, and even if those are parryable, it's still bad game design because it's
yeah,
reusing a
it's not
past
how
boss
the game
fight
is
in a
designed.
different
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It not only is it exactly the same, but it's from a style that does not match this game,
Hmm.
so it just doesn't match. Like it doesn't
Oh
mesh
yeah,
well together
the
at
play
all.
area goes from being like an entire basketball or like an entire PE thing to literally the size of like a bedroom in terms of like how much space you have to fight them.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Oh yeah, the other two things that I was spoiled about from the game were that there was a tofu Easter egg, but I didn't know where it was, so I found that myself still.
Hmm.
But I knew that it was coming, I just didn't know where. Sorry, that was two. What was the third one? Oh, the third one was the existence of Zeno and that he was similar to Wesker. I didn't know the
Okay.
context. I didn't know who Zeno was, but I saw YouTube like on Friday when the game came out. I didn't make it to the part where Zeno appeared yet,
Hmm.
so I was just scrolling YouTube Shorts and then that popped up, and then I immediately swiped away.
Yeah.
um, but I still saw the name Zeno, and and something along the lines of like he's just Wesker basically. Didn't know the context, but then when you see Zeno for the first time, you immediately get that. So it's barely even a spoiler because the game shoves that in your face the first second you see him.
You're a cheap
So it doesn't
imitation
matter
or
that much.
whatever Victor said.
It's to the point where like Zeno is so similar to Wesker that I wouldn't even be surprised if he literally is Wesker. Like not literally like the Wesker, but like we already know that Spencer lied to Wesker when he was like, "You're the only one of the Wesker children that was successful." Like we already have Alex Wesker. I wouldn't even be surprised if Zeno was a Wesker
Well,
child.
did Spencer even know that Alex was successful though?
I don't know, but
I thought the whole point
whether
was
he
that like
knows
she
or
would like rap like way rogue compared to like Albert Wesker, but I could be mistaken. I haven't played Rev 2 yet.
I did play it. I don't remember, but
Okay.
it's either that he was lying or that he was wrong. Either way, it's possible there's more that survived, in which case I wouldn't honestly be surprised if Xena was one. The problem is who he is, literally anything about him is
Hmm.
not explained in this game. Like there's nothing about him.
Yeah.
All we have that we know about him is his existence and that he
Hmm.
looks like Wesker, and that he has the voice of RE4 remake Wesker. That's all we know about him.
That's
Nothing else.
that's another thing that I'm not really sure why Capcom went the direction they did, or at least the 789 devs, is that apparently there was a picture of okay, this part I might be wrong on since I've not been able to confirm this myself. But did you see a picture in like that office or whatever, like right before you go help Leon at the end of the game?
A picture of what?
Like it was a silhouette of a woman.
I don't think so, but
Okay,
I don't remember.
people are saying that's allegedly Mother Miranda, and then like they like silhouetted it, and then Huck being called the commander in the models or whatever, and then this version of Wesker either being a clone or looking exactly like him. It feels like they could not pick a side with where they wanted to go with being either like certain characters or being like an imitation or exactly like them. Like it was just
Mhm.
really, 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 really weird. I just don't understand that.
Yeah. It's just I don't understand what the point of Xeno was. Like he didn't really add anything to the story.
As soon as I saw Xeno, I knew the game was cooked, and I was actually right. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was unfortunately a sign of things to come for the story. Like it literally went from being like actually one of the more competent Resident Evil stories to being honest to God, as bad as 6.
The thing is, you watched FNAF 2, right? The movie.
Maybe.
The thing is, I love FNAF 2. I know it's a horrible movie. It's
That's putting it
not
mildly.
good at all. It's not good at all. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not good. Thing is, Michael Afton in that movie. What did he do?
Jack shit.
What did he contribute to the plot? Like
Jack
he
shit, brother.
freed Charlotte. He freed Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
Could have had any other way to free Charlotte. He didn't add anything to the story. He literally was just there, basically for fan service. Xeno here is basically just Wesker, but not Wesker. And
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't add anything to the story. You can easily get the point of his character across with either just Victor Gideon or with literally any other character. Like there's the guy from the beginning of the game, like the hooded guy. You could have had that be somebody that Gideon was working with rather than just being a random guy that we never saw again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he didn't really have a role. Like, I don't even know who the fuck I don't know who the hooded guy was. Whether he
He's
was
just
just a
a part of the
random zombie or
connections.
what.
He's probably just some grunt or whatever, which I doesn't really make a lot of sense, but whatever.
Yeah, but he was just there. Like he didn't do anything. They could have easily made him a bigger part, replace Zeno with him. They could
Mm-hmm.
have gotten the point of Zeno's character across without Zeno. Zeno is just there for no reason, and I don't know
There
what
actually
their
is a reason
thought
for him. You
process
don't
was with
understand,
that.
bro. It's supposed to be RE5 fan
Wesker
service.
fan service. Wesker fan service.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's the same thing with freaking excuse me, FNAF 2. This movie, or sorry, this video game, I guess the movie does too, but falls into a lot of pit holes where it feels like they just do things to look cool rather than a legitimate story reason. For instance,
Mhm.
right? Oh yeah, this Wesker clone being able to dodge bullets like he does in RE5. It's literally just for hype moments and aura. Mr. X appearing out of nowhere, hype moments and aura. Literally the freaking fight with Hunk, hype moments and aura. Like it literally doesn't feel like most of the decisions in the second half of the game. Oh yeah, and the entire bike sequence too. Literally don't feel like they serve any other purpose other than looking cool. Like if you break them down from a story standpoint, they fail so miserably. It belongs in a game that's probably closer to a 3 out of 10 rather than a Resident Evil game that's trying to be much better than that.
You don't even fight Zeno. They
Exactly.
show off his teleportation powers, and you don't even fight him. There's no point. He just exists
Hmm.
for no reason. He serves no purpose to the story. I don't know why he's there. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe part of his purpose was to be like, hey, this is the voice actor for Wesker. He looks exactly like Wesker. He acts pretty similar in some ways to the RE4 remake Wesker.
Hmm.
Be prepared because this is what Wesker's going to be like in RE5. Okay, like I mean, I won't completely mind that as long as he's still more similar to the RE5 one.
Yeah.
I won't be completely against that. Thing is, just do that with Wesker in RE5. Don't do that in RE9, a new entry, 4 games after Wesker fucking died.
Yeah.
There's no point. And he has nothing to the story. There was no point to have him. He's just there. And the
Well, what's
thing is,
confusing too is that like I was under the impression that Victor Gideon was going to be the head of the connections.
yeah,
Apparently it's either there is a head of the connections, but I don't think he was actually mentioned in this game. That honestly might be a retcon that the Xeno was always his code name and he was actually the head of the connections. That's also, well, the connections being stupidly incompetent is just an upright byproduct of how they wrote them in this game, but my point is that like like all the stuff with the connections just fundamentally fails so badly. It heavily affects the games that they were also in too. So it's like, I don't even know, man.
Doesn't Gideon say something like the connections dies with you to Xeno or something, or was it the other
Yeah,
way around?
he was just he.
It
I'm
was
pretty sure
Gideon?
when he was talking about money and stuff, he's almost implying that he's either like their biggest benefactor or investor, or he's straight up the head of the connections. Either or. So either way, the connections did die with him, which is also kind of dumb.
Thing is, I actually really liked Gideon. I thought he was a really cool villain. The motorcycle chase was stupid, but
Yeah,
he himself as a villain, I thought he was actually pretty menacing. I thought he was well designed, he was creepy, he was big, and it seemed like he would be a good boss. I thought he was really cool. I really liked him. I just wish he was the main villain rather than just throwing Xeno in for literally no reason. The thing it's just like he was wasted potential. He was so cool, and then they just replaced him with this Wesker clone that didn't need to exist. And I just can't comprehend why they even did that.
and also they made Victor Gideon like fell into the freaking almost CW Flash levels of writing tropes, where like Grace and Leon could have gotten away from Victor Gideon when they got choked out. Literally, like Gideon's just slowly getting closer, and Leon's like, I wonder when I should shoot this guy. Like Canon Leon would have shot him way beforehand, probably in the face or like the night vision thing, because he probably would have guessed that he was probably near impenetrable, knowing the bullshit in this series. He probably would have stunned Victor Gideon and just ran right past him.
Question.
What?
Why is there so much teleportation in this game? I'm starting to think Xeno and Wesker aren't the only ones that teleport. Because, first of all, I mentioned it earlier, the clones in the orphanage, you know how they're there, and then you have to
Yeah.
go all the way back to the main hall, and then you go back.
Mm-hmm.
There's nowhere they could have gone because they didn't go past you. They had to have gone into the room that we just went into, that we go
Yeah.
into. But then when we go into there, they're not there. So they teleport. Gideon, what the fuck?
Yeah.
At
Don't
at
worry, he
the
just
end
limped there
of
like this
Grace's
all the way over to Ark or whatever.
not even that. No, well, that too. But the thing is, Grace's care center section, but specifically the one with Big Mama, she gets the fuse in. Leon gets her knife, or sorry, gives his the requiem to her. Then
Hmm.
he ends up inside in the area that Grace was just in. I'm pretty sure there's no other doors in that area. We go in that area as Grace everywhere we possibly can. Where the fuck did Gideon come from?
If I were
How
to
did he
guess,
get
because
in
there
there?
was like some like trap door thing. I'm not excusing it, of course, but I mean, there was like a trap door. I just don't know where it led to. So either it makes a great more deal of sense to both of us, or it's just like them just do a classic RE writing where they just can't figure shit out.
He just appeared in there somehow.
Hmm.
Like I assume it was like something about a trapdoor to the attic or something, but like because like that's where Leon ends up afterwards. But also there's no entrance to the attic that we can see, and it's just like he just spawns out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like realistically, that's probably the answer, but it's just like because like obviously if he got in, how did he and Leon get out into the attic, right? There has to be some way there. It's just like he just shows up. It just feels out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah. That's fair.
Like there's probably a logical explanation. It just doesn't like it just feels random.
This game is sort of good, bro. I really don't really like the post game rewards of like the whole, oh look, you can unlock Leon's tracker thing from the beginning, and also gives increased money, and also you have to get all the collectibles to get the level 3 upgrades, including for armor. Which, does that really have to be a new game plus item? Does that really have to be a new game plus item? I mean, like, I don't know,
I
man.
think that I think it's weird because we don't get to buy new weapons, upgrade our weapons until the Raccoon City section. And by that point in the game, the enemies are getting stronger. They're more bullet spongy than they already were. And we still have our guns from the beginning of the game, which are not very good. The
Hmm.
shotgun in this game does not feel powerful at all.
If it sucks, bro.
There's there's been multiple times I shot a zombie in the head with a shotgun and it was perfectly fine.
Hmm.
Like it stumbled, but it was alive, and that's not how a shotgun should work. um, but it's
Shotguns should
like,
always be powerful. That's kind of the whole point. Is that
yeah, they
they
should
can
feel
usually take
powerful.
out enemies with a single shot, but in this game, sometimes they didn't stagger when you get a headshot against them. Like
Yeah,
you would
that's what I
still
was
need to
saying
put
earlier
a
with
couple extra
the.
bullets into them. Hello, impulse. Uh-oh.
The postcard. Yeah, my
Oh,
life. Did you break?
you kind of lagged a little bit. You okay?
Oh, I still hear you perfectly fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I lagging at
Was
all,
it me?
or
Here, wait, let me check my YouTube. It could be my end.
let me check the stream.
It says it's been excellent the whole time, so. Okay, you might have just lagged a little bit. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I see on your screen that I was just frozen. There you go.
You're just like,
Yeah.
dude, okay, can you
um.
believe we are 5 seconds away from the 2 hour point of talking about this game? And we are still
Jesus.
we are not running out of things to talk about with this game.
Not quite yet. No. What was I saying just now?
You were talking about how the
Talking about
shotgun's
the. Oh
really
yeah,
pitiful in this game.
yeah. I think my biggest, not my biggest problem. I have many problems with the game, but a big problem that I have with the game is just that you can't upgrade your weapons as Leon from the get-go. Like, I get the story reason, like you have to wait until you actually get to the BSAA area. Like that kind of makes sense. But from a gameplay standpoint, the fact that you can't upgrade your weapons or buy new ones until halfway through the game just feels like a really awkward decision. And I don't know if that's just me, it just feels weird. And then on your second playthrough you can all of a sudden.
Yeah, but the problem is you have to
Like,
rebuy your weapons too. Like you don't find them on the ground, right? I mean, not for me at least. Like you had to rebuy
yeah,
the shotgun
yeah.
and rebuy the sniper, which is, excuse me, really stupid.
Even the rifle, like I got to the section where you're supposed to protect Grace with the rifle, and I looked
You're
around and I
like,
was like, "Where the fuck is the rifle?" Like this
even
is
in
on
the
my
cutscene, he
casual
has the
playthrough.
rifle, but and then it's just not there for whatever reason.
Yeah, like I looked around, the rifle wasn't there,
Hmm.
and then I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I literally had to. I had just bought a pistol, right? Like the silencer,
Hmm.
I think it was. I had just bought that, and then I was like, "Well, I can't do this section without the rifle." So I sold the pistol that I just bought. Luckily, I hadn't upgraded it at all, so I got all of my money back. Luckily,
Yeah.
the problem is you buy the rifle, there's no scope on it when you buy it.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure
for
it's
me
an
personally, that
upgrade.
wasn't a deal breaker since I've been using it without it, but I can totally see for you why that was pretty annoying.
I preferred using it without the scope later in the game. It like close
Hmm.
quarters combat is much better without the scope if you're using the rifle. It kind of reminds me of Silent Hill 2 remakes rifle,
Hmm.
and I think that was a really good rifle. I like that rifle a lot. And it's kind of like that. Um, but the fact that it doesn't come with it when you first buy it, despite the fact that it does come with it when you first find it in the game, I feel like that should be something that you just naturally have. You
Hmm.
should be able to equip it and unequip it, but you should automatically have it at least, I think. I'm assuming it's one of the upgrades, so you can probably upgrade it and then you get the scope. I'm guessing. I just find it
I
weird that
think you
you
can
don't
buy
just
the
automatically
scope
have
in the
it.
shop, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. Yeah. Well, in the shop you couldn't buy it. I'm pretty like I looked through
Hmm.
the shop. Sorry, the shop. I couldn't find the scope. I'm assuming it's an upgrade to the actual gun itself, which is a little weird. But
Would you like to open the floor now? Impulse for Connor to come in here. LED said he didn't want to join us, by the way.
oh yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, I'm done.
All right, Connor. Oh God, where's the Umbrella Corps one, bro?
The Umbrella Corps.
Well,
I
that's a
got it.
lot. Okay,
All right, I'll call him there.
sounds good. A
Yo.
a. Okay, I think Connor's been passively watching, so I don't know if he'll join right away, but that's okay. I really need to go to the bathroom though, so I might need a few minutes. So I'll be right
All right.
back. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll check on what other stuff I have to talk about.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Well, I was saying, I was just playing Arkham Asylum while you guys were talking.
How's it going, Connor?
I'm doing all right.
Evan is just in the bathroom right now. But I
Ah,
think his stream can still hear us, so
alrighty. I guess
yeah.
I'm guessing the stream probably wants to know what my thoughts on Requiem is.
Well, I don't know if there's anybody watching the stream right now. I don't think there is, but we want to know
I
your
think
thoughts on
I think I'm
Requiem
probably like the
specifically.
only one watching.
Or I think I am.
I guess.
Unless you're on, I guess then there's two of us. But
Right.
um but we've been talking for like 2 hours and I'm trying to find what
Yeah, yeah. I
else
heard.
I have to talk about.
Oh, man, I don't even know if there's anything else to really talk about, to be honest.
I just want to we just want to know your thoughts. Um I'm just gonna look
Um.
through
hmm,
my notes. I have a lot of notes about this game, so I'm trying to see what other things I
Yeah.
have
Man, I
that I
honestly
want
kind of
to add.
wish I made notes because, like,
You have some notes, you
yeah,
said?
I mean, because privately before the stream started, I did talk to Evan about my thoughts uh earlier, and now I'm just like, damn, I don't even know what to talk about.
We did talk a lot, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
see, the thing is, we've kind of been shitting on the game, but I do actually like it. That is the thing. I
Yeah.
have a lot
So
of problems with the game, but I still
yeah,
like the game.
yeah. I mean, I pretty much like I told Evan this that I had a fun time with the game, but there was also like a lot of moments in the game that were absolutely fucking frustrating.
Yeah,
So like,
for
I
sure.
mean, to me, I mean, I guess you can argue it's kind of, I guess the typical Resident Evil experience, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really fun, but it's also really fucking stupid.
it is really dumb. There's a lot of frustrating stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah. Well,
stupid story
I think
moves.
and mostly just, with the stuff at the end, mostly.
Some of it, yeah. And there's definitely we were talking a lot about like the difficulties
Yeah,
and stuff.
I know you guys compared it to like the FNAF 2 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey look, I know that movie has a ton of flaws. I don't give a shit. I fucking love that movie.
Oh, me too. Me too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I honestly love both movies, honestly.
Me too. Yeah.
Like I said, I know they are very, very flawed, but to be honest, I kind of expected that.
I don't really have that many
But
problems with the
I
first
want them to
movie.
be good movies, yeah, but, like, at the same time, knowing it's written by Scott Cawthon, I'm like, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't really have any problems for the most part with the first movie, but there's a lot wrong with the
Mhm.
second movie for sure.
Yeah.
But it's very fun.
I really do hope they, because because I did see a lot of, I know we're supposed to talk about Requiem, but, we'll get
Well,
back on
Evan's not
topic
back yet,
soon,
so we'll wait for him.
but,
We'll
like
wait for him.
but, like, I really do I did see a lot of other fans, even people who liked the first one were very, very critical all over, the second one is so, so I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, like, maybe, like I really do hope, like, Scott and the team will be a little bit more open to criticisms compared to the first one,
Mhm.
which is funny because, like, I thought they said that they listened to criticism, but it's like I think there were some people who pointed out,
Did
it's like,
they?
yeah, it's like they listened to the people who liked the first one, but only had, like, small gripes.
Mhm. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure they did listen to the criticism throughout.
Yeah. And it's like because I remember they're like, um it's like one of the biggest criticism I think they probably, like, only listened to was that, it wasn't scary, which okay, like, yeah, the second one, I wouldn't really say the second one is scary, at least to me, but I guess, kinda see why it would be scary to someone else. But, like,
Mhm.
I remember one of the other criticisms that a lot of the fans, like, had was that, they didn't incorporate the FNAF gameplay, at all. And so, like, I guess they tried to do
Yeah.
that with the second one. Which, I
It's
mean,
not
yeah, I
even
mean,
close in the
hey,
first
look,
movie.
it was pretty goofy, but it was also like, the fanboy in me, I was like, I'm just like, it's kinda cool to kinda see, see Mike actually playing FNAF 2 on the big screen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, there's a part where I just can't flat out just, hate that scene.
If only he was also winding the music box.
Yeah. Well,
Unfortunately,
dumbass
Charles
fucking
already
closes
have.
it at the end, knowing that hey, it keeps the puppet at
Yeah,
bay.
why did he do that?
I maybe I guess his justification was like, oh, okay, maybe she's put to sleep for an hour or something. I don't know. Like I said, I
Yeah,
really
it
don't
was
know why he did that other
just
than just,
because.
oh yeah, we need a reason for the puppet to possess Vanessa at the end.
Yep.
That's literally that's the real reason. You need a
I
reason.
wouldn't
I
even be
can't wait to
surprised
tell
if
you.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Leon was actively sabotaging her because he was mad at her.
Leon. Um.
I'm looking through
Yeah, I guess
my
jumping the gun back to Resident Evil Requiem, because the
yeah.
thing is that I watched Scream 7 on Thursday night, if I remember correctly, and
Mhm.
that the amount of nostalgia baiting they did in that movie was so fucking ridiculous. Like it's not
Was
even
it
funny. It's
good at all?
no, I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was just kind of like I'm gonna be honest. No, it was not good. I was just gonna
Okay.
just flat out say it. I think I said it was I think in the VIP server I said it was mid, but the more I think about it, I think I might actually hate Scream 7 because I think I remember on the walk home, I um I was talking to Evan. I think Triforce was there too, and the way I was ranting about the movie, Evan I think told Sketch, he was like, "Hey Sketch, Connor's ranting about Scream 7 the same way I would about other stuff I don't like." So, yeah. I think the
Yeah.
last time that happened with me, was, with Joker 2, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
It was I thought
I
the
haven't
most of the movie
seen
was mid up until the ending.
I
It was
haven't
kinda
seen
it was
Scream
literally
7
the
yet.
same situation with Scream 7.
I haven't seen Scream 7 yet, but the only Scream movie that I've actively disliked is 3. The rest span
Yeah,
from
and I
fine
think I said
to
this in the
good.
VIP server. I think Scream 3 is a much better movie. I'm gonna be honest.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think the first movie is obviously the best,
Well,
but I
yeah,
honestly
duh.
think 5 is actually really good. I don't know why. I think I
Mhm.
mostly just like it because of Jack Quaid. I love him.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
he's awesome.
but I think
I
overall
mean,
the movie is
I think
just
I also
really
like
just
that
pretty
movie
good.
because of the Dead Meat cameo.
Right, yeah. I think I actually watched it in VC with Evan too. I don't know if you were there. I just
Mm.
remember Evan was
I
there
I
and
I wasn't, I was
no,
I
I
wasn't.
remember Evan was there and he was watching it along with me, and I was like, and I kept being like, "No, don't kill Jack Quaid, please." And then by the end of the movie, I was like, "All right, so who's the killer? Oh, hey, it's Jack Quaid." No,
And then
no,
you're like, "Oh,
no,
he's gonna fucking
no,
die."
no. And I was like, "No, Jack Quaid, don't do this." And after finishing the movie, I thought to myself, what was Evan thinking the whole time when he was like, "Oh no," when he was listening to me being like, "No, please don't kill Jack Quaid." I wonder what his thought process was when the whole time he was like,
He was probably
"Well."
like, "Bro doesn't know." Yeah. Yeah. Because, one of the
He's
things
back.
that makes Scream 7, a really bad Scream movie is really just, when the killers are ultimately revealed and you find out and you find out, I guess, their motivations. One of them, I don't even think you even, get what their motivations other than this, they were bored, I guess, and the other one is just kinda just, why? 'Cause,
Okay.
especially when it comes to the opening scene of the movie where I mean, I'm not spoiling this, I mean, they show this in the trailer where they burn down Stu Macher's house. Once you get to the actual, reveal of the killers and one of them explains their motivation, it's you think back to the beginning, it's like, "Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense." Why did you do that?
Okay.
I think Stacey Films he posted a spoiler review yesterday. I think he did a much better job explaining the problems with the reveal
Yeah.
than I could.
Yeah, Connor, I'm so glad I did not see that movie. I
Yeah.
I okay, because
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I know a lot of people are more up in arms with firing Jenna Ortega, and I cannot remember for the life of me ever
Yeah.
remember the actress's name, but the
No, it was no. I think they fired Melissa Barrera, and then
yeah,
Jenna
that one.
Ortega, quit because of it.
But I already thought that was inherently flawed, but I was like, you know what? If maybe we can establish new location, new characters, and then Scream 7 is like, oh look, nostalgia slop, and I'm like, oh fucking hell. Yeah, never mind. I'm done,
Yeah,
Now
bro.
look,
yeah.
literally
And
every other character from the previous
so
from the previous movies.
so yeah. So I think Evan Negrodano. I don't know why I'm saying your full name, but I think I discussed to you earlier before the stream started that that Requiem honestly felt kind of, I guess, tame in comparison to the Scream 7 when it came to fan service.
I
Because
don't
like I said,
know.
because Scream 7 went fucking overboard with the nostalgia bit. Whereas Requiem, I didn't really notice it, or at least mind it too much, because I'm like, okay, I can kind of see why some of this stuff is here, but I think you pointed out in your live stream that when it came to the flashbacks when they flashbacks to like Kendo and all that stuff. It's like I think you stated that you didn't really need that, and I actually do agree, because I feel like all you really need is just Leon, and he gives a look, because
Yeah.
I feel like you play that scene muted without the subtitles. It's honestly pretty. I honestly think it could have been really a really powerful scene, but they just had to add flashbacks because oh yeah, because for the people who probably forgot. I
Well,
was like,
what
I'm pretty sure most people have probably played the remakes at this point, so I'm pretty sure they have a vivid memory of that. You don't really need the flashbacks.
I would have loved to see with the Kendo scene, like maybe he approaches the shed and like you can tell he's very curious with what's inside, and then he gets inside and
Mhm.
maybe he repeats what Kendo says. Maybe he's just like terminate, like, or like not, maybe not that line where he's just like how could this
Uh,
happen or something like that, and then like he maybe just looks like a little like melancholic, and then he just kind of picks it back up because
well,
Leon
again, like
definitely
I said,
would posit
again, the
that.
looks again, like I said, you can have that look of sadness, like like he does in the actual game, and and still keep the lines where it's like I'm sorry, I'm so sorry about this, never again,
Yeah, that
like it is
was
in the
really
actual
good.
game.
Nick Bosselides killed it
Yeah,
with
I was
that
like,
part.
because afterwards I'm just like, yeah, like that's all you need. I don't know why you needed to add this whole extra
It's
shit.
because Resident Evil just doesn't trust their audience enough, unfortunately, and they haven't for a really long time. I mean, like, I feel like Seven's probably the last game where, I don't know. Even like RE2 had very small instances. I don't think they were like whatever, but like from time to time, for sure.
Maybe that's because they retconned RE6 out of existence because they were like, I don't trust my audience enough to even know that this is true.
Yeah.
They were like, they won't even know that it's
Yeah.
retconned.
Well, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
yeah,
Like,
Simmons actually killed the president because he knew too much about Elvis, apparently.
I cannot wait. Okay, I'm gonna make a Evan prediction right here. Okay, I cannot wait for RE6 to come out and people have a revisionist history that RE6 was always good, and regardless of the remake is, and also them saying that Resident Evil is a great a globetrotting adventure with a cast of like 8+ characters was always a good idea. Because listen, bro, literally I've seen so many people being like RE6 isn't that bad and it could have been done better. A globetrotting adventure is not Resident Evil and never will be. Okay? Like
Mhm.
Resident
Yeah.
Evil 4 did a good job of Leon was pushed into these areas. It's not like he wanted to go to the castle. It's not like he wanted to go to the island. He was being pushed further and further until he finally got to his objective and then could finish off Sadler. But the problem with RE6 is that they were way too over their heads with what they wanted to do with that game. And honestly, a lot of that is totally, you could totally see it in the second half of Requiem too, which is my biggest problem with the game. Like, literally, like, I already wasn't a big fan of the mortars, but I was like, you know what? If that's the worst of the, like, worst type of stuff with this game, then I can live with that. Then there was an entire bike sequence, and I've seen so many people online being like, well, it's short, so it's not that big of a deal. It is bad conceptually. That is the problem. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes long. And plus, you really look like you know say something. I will shut my mouth.
So I was looking back while you were gone. I was looking. We were talking about Scream and stuff, but I was while we were doing that, I was looking back through some of my notes to see was there anything that we haven't talked about yet. I thought we talked about pretty much everything in my notes, but there's definitely some stuff that I forgot to mention.
All right.
Such as?
Okay, so I'm fine with zombies using guns in Resident Evil. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
If they don't know how to use them and they just accidentally shoot you. There's an enemy like that in this game. It's really annoying,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I'm fine with that conceptually. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool a little bit. It's
But why
annoying,
the
but it's
hell
kind of
can they
cool.
use chainsaws?
Well, that I don't mind as
I
much.
think that's
Like I
actually
said, just
way
like
cooler in my opinion. It fits better than guns,
I
but
think
That's
I
true.
think the chainsaw, it's like they being knowing to pull it, that's a little dumb, but
Okay, all
knowing
right.
to hold it and swing it around, that's normal. I think it's fine for a zombie to be like, "Yeah, I'll hit you with this thing." That makes
Okay, all
sense.
right.
But and same with the gun. It's like they don't know what they're doing with it. They just know that like
And they're just waving it
they're
around
just
like a
they're just
fort,
holding it.
like a bat.
They're
I don't
just
know if you
holding
guys
it and
noticed,
accidentally
but
shooting
before
it.
you talk about mortars, I do not like how accurate zombies were with guns in this game. Like, it was actually ridiculous. Like, in RE6, you would take
Yeah.
very, very minimal chip damage from guns. Like, it was so minuscule. It's more so that I hate the concept in that game. In Requiem, I hate the concept and the fact they do so much damage. Like, if you don't deal with them right away, you get, like, a third to half your health taken out if, like, you're not careful enough. Which didn't happen to
Yeah.
me after, like, the first few encounters, but it's annoying that I had to learn the hard way. That's not how they work, is unlike RE6. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is just that I'm fine with zombies using guns in Resident Evil as long as they don't know how to use them. The problem is, like during the mortar section, there were zombies that were using the mortars and aiming at you. What do you mean the zombie knows
Pretty
how to
accurately, too.
use a mortar launcher and aim it directly at you? Also, I don't know if this was a fluke or if this is actually a game mechanic. It might have just been a fluke, but I noticed today when I was playing on my casual run, trying to get under 4 hours, during that whole section, there was a zombie that had a gun, like the one of the ones that like just shoots aimlessly. And I went to shoot him, and he ducked under cover.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
That's
I
nuts.
don't know if I don't know if it was just a fluke and like if maybe he fell for some reason, I don't know. But I just noticed that like there was a cover next to him and I was aiming at him and he ducked. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I mean, that's already one of my biggest complaints with Formake with the... I don't know if you remember, like, at the tail end of it, right before you go into Louise's house, the chick with the dynamite that just goes, like constantly. That chick is... Dude, literally, it's gone to the point where if you watch some of my permadeath runs, I'll literally aim away from her, and then she literally, like, the second she's, like, coming back up, I go, like... And then just, like, blow her up instantly. The fact you even have to do that in a Resident Evil game is kind of stupid, in my opinion, but it is what it is.
Oh, also don't get okay. We
Oh,
so we fought the zombies with the mortar launchers, we fought the zombies shooting guns aimlessly. And then we fight humans.
Last of Us style,
yeah.
too.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Fighting the
I know. Oh
humans.
yeah. I about to say when I was watching the stream, I know you guys mentioned Last of Us. Like one of the big things that kind of reminded me of Last of Us is just all the buildings that you were like walking around in Raccoon City.
Yeah.
A lot
Like,
of
I thought
people
that was
actually
kinda,
did
like,
say
very
that,
much
which I do
you know.
agree with.
I got like 50 different Last of Us vibes throughout the entire game, like from
Yeah.
from so many different things. But what I was gonna say, fighting humans is not something that I really want from a Resident Evil game. In some
At
cases, I
all.
feel like it can work. In some cases,
Yeah.
I feel like it can work, but like shooting guns at zombies, sorry, at humans that are shooting guns back at you, that's annoying. Like
I pretty
brutes in
much I killed all of them
RE4,
with
at
an
least
axe.
that's like a minigun thing. Like that kind of thing, I don't mind as much. Still a little annoying, but I don't mind it as much as a literal human. Like I don't like that.
Oh yeah, and the right shield guy,
But
just as a final fuck you
Yeah.
to the
Yeah,
section
like,
too.
why, like, what was the fucking point of the riot shield guy?
Just to be annoying, I guess.
That
I
was
mean,
so
luckily I had
dumb.
6 grenades, so I just freaking nade spammed him. But
I
LED
just
wasn't as
fucking
lucky, and I'm
I just
assuming you
walked
weren't,
around him
Impulse.
until, like, I literally
the
just walked around him until I could
only
axe him off, literally.
the only good thing about that part,
The liquor.
letting the liquor out to fight with you.
I didn't know you could do that.
Wait, what now? You could do that?
Yeah, there's a liquor in like a container, and you
Impulse.
can break the glass. The liquor will come out and fight
Oh, I
the
didn't know that.
humans with
All right,
you.
I'll
Yeah.
okay.
Dude, what's funny?
It'll still
LED
fight
did
you,
that
but, like-
after he completed the combat encounter. I was like, why did you let him out there?
I found that really cool. The fact that it actually attacked them and not just you. I thought that was really cool.
Also, I think it's a kind of like to show how unreplayable Requiem is, when the only new thing I saw from your stream was that liquor thing, by the way. The only thing, because like if you play Resident Evil 4 Remake and then watch someone play it, you will discover so many different things you did not do or try your first time around. Oh my god, you can throw a grenade or a flashbang at that one guy gonna lower the bridge? That's badass, bro.
I think the same could be said about the original as well. Like, for example, like the different like after the cabin section, like there's like two paths you can go. Like you can either fight El Gigante or you can fight the chainsaw ladies.
El Gigante all the way, by the way. I always choose that pathway.
Yeah, because it's so much easier and so much faster, especially on professional mode.
Yeah, 20 Ganados and 2 Chainsaw Sisters, or one single El Gigante.
One Gigante,
yeah.
I feel like you know how Separate Ways.
Giant coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb.
Yeah. or hell, be a psychopath like me and just do both because you want to get all the treasures.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
I do that from time to time.
I think the fact that RE4 remake like cut a lot of content and then a lot of it was added back in Separate Ways. I think the Gigante
like the U3 especially, yeah.
Huh?
That was like the big one. The U3 especially. That
was yeah.
I don't really like the U3 in that game, but that's a topic for a different time.
I like it. I think it's cool.
Well, it's fine. It's just the arena size is too small. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I think the El Gigante fight in like the farm area, I think that was probably meant to be like their replacement for the alternate path where you fight the Gigante, because it's kind of like in a similar area. It's in a different area, but similar area. So I wonder if that was like their replacement for that.
And then you use Ada's zipline like literally like an Attack on Titan character with the ODM gear, which I thought was like the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys ever talk about? Did you guys already talk about Ada's absence in Requiem?
Oh,
no?
we haven't.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I do agree
all
that
of us, I think all of us like thought like immediately like, oh yeah, Ada's got to be in this game no matter what, right? And then we've all played the game and she's not. I mean, I think we get like Leon repeating lines that she says in previous games, but other than that, like, you know, there's no mention of her. There's no appearance, like nothing. Like I was shocked that she didn't even get a mention.
Well,
the only game that Leon has been in that Ada hasn't been in is Resident Evil Gaiden.
Well, I mean, does that really count?
Exactly my point. So the fact that she's not in this game is not only weird just because you would think that she would be in it because Leon's in it, but also she was gonna be in RE8 and then she was scrapped from that game.
So she should have been in RE8, but
I agree. But you'd think that she would be in RE9 because modern era and Leon's in this game. You'd think that she would be here, and that she's just not.
And also, like that's also with them returning to Raccoon City. That's also literally the first place she met Ada.
Yeah.
So I honestly thought, like, you know, maybe I don't know, man.
Well, okay.
I remember somebody working on RE9. I think also said like some people asked like, is Leon married or anything like that, and they were like, I'm not going to reveal that. Which kind of like you would think that would imply like, oh yeah, we'd get some kind of indication
I think
on that.
you see. I think there's concept art that shows that I think he was wearing a wedding ring or something like that. Everybody is like
talking about something like that.
He's married to Ada or something like that.
Well, I've actually heard that that's supposed to be a matching ring with Sherry, which is the reason why he puts it on at the end of the game, because he actually does put on something at the end of the game. But I don't know. Maybe he is married. At least that's just what I've heard. It could be completely and utterly incorrect, so don't take that as factual. As for Ada, I don't think she needs to be necessarily intrinsically tied with Leon. I think the problem is that normally Leon has something to kind of bounce off of. You know what I'm saying? Like, Leon is the naive one that doesn't really know what he's getting into, and Ada knows everything. So the fact that we don't have something for Leon to bounce off of feels the more jarring than Ada not being in the game. I don't think Ada necessarily had to be in this game, but like the fact that like either Ada wasn't in the game or someone that was like her in the game is the reason why I have a problem with it.
I just think it's weird that like, well, I mean, yeah,
I think
not
honestly
as naive in these games anymore. Like in this game specifically, he's not quite as naive. So like, I don't think that's necessarily the problem.
I just mean like not like knowing the scope of what's going on. Like Ada knew like everything about like the island and the castle, and Leon knew jack shit when he was going into that village, and he was not naive anymore. Well, kind of like 10%.
My whole point is just that Leon and like this whole game is about going back to Raccoon City and Leon's trauma about it. And because Ada was gonna be in 8, it just makes sense that she would be in this game. Like, based on the fact that she was almost in a previous game, and the fact that Leon's here, and just the idea of going back to the place where he met Ada.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels weird that she would be absent based on everything that they set up with the game.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
I honestly thought that maybe like after Leon loses connection with like Sherry, I thought maybe like like maybe this could be like a time where maybe like Ada could show up or maybe help out at the last minute or something like that. But like no, they
Mhm.
just don't do anything.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just
I
feel
think it's kind
like
of a missed opportunity. I think it's honestly kind of a missed opportunity.
I don't know. I just feel like Ada not being in the game and also not anyone being like her, like in terms of like a spy, because like how is it that like the connections is apparently this big and there was no one like Ada, like at least trying to foil their plans in Raccoon City? That's
Yeah.
what doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
me. And I don't know. I just feel like it is yet another microcosm of just I don't think the RE9 or 789 devs understand Leon at all. Like if I'm just being honest, like there's small moments where like he kind of works as a character, but other like not necessarily his writing, but some of the actions he does, like Leon literally just chilling there as that lady gets chainsawed to death is just like another moment. It's like Leon would have
Yeah.
at least tried to shoot him, or like maybe like even if he couldn't do anything, at least like try to do something about it. But the fact he was
Not
just
to
like
mention,
I don't know.
not to mention watching the lady bite the dude's nose off after making out with it for no reason.
Yeah, what the yeah, that was so fucking weird.
I don't know what
I don't know,
happened.
man.
Like, yeah, before beating this guy, I'm gonna make out with him.
That was
Yeah,
weird.
I don't know what that was. So one other thing I wanted to talk about. Hunk. Thoughts?
Yeah,
Umbrella Corps
Stop.
gameplay,
He's
as I said in my stream.
Yeah, it
Umbrella
really was.
Dude, literally, it's just over and over
just
again trying to stagger him. And,
parry, attack. Parry, attack.
yeah, so stupid, bro. I swear to God.
I
Even
swear
if
to
it
God,
wasn't
every
Hunk, I
time
would have
tried to
complained
attack
about it.
with the axe, he
TLDR.
parried it every single fucking time.
The fight was a little dumb, like the mechanics of it. My biggest
Mhm.
problem is just the axe gameplay in general is like the
Mhm.
axe combat in general is very clunky. It doesn't work very well, especially because if you swing, you against Hunk, it's good to swing, and then he attacks. Problem is, swing, you're locked in the animation. You can't parry his attack. That's the problem.
Yeah.
um, and I think what's even bigger of a problem is that you kill him theoretically. You think you killed him at least. You stab him in the neck. He has to
Mhm.
die from that, right? Then you leave. Then you come back. His body is gone. Where the fuck did he go? Did he
Wait,
survive
what?
getting
What? His
stabbed in
body
the
is
neck?
gone.
Yeah, I like when I first played.
Yeah, I
I
remember
didn't try
that
the
part of the
second
stream.
time. I didn't try the second time, but I remember like you stab him in the neck. You go back. I think it was upstairs or something, right? And you look out the window into the room that you were just in. And I looked out and I was like, I don't see his body. So I go back down. Nowhere to be found. His body is gone.
Hmm.
No matter what the case is, that is a problem. Either A, he survived, in which case, how the fuck did he survive a stab to the neck?
His with a
Second of
spread.
all, if he died, where did his body go? Third, if he died, that's a huge disservice to one of the series' legacy characters. Like,
Yeah.
he's not quite as
My
iconic
favorite
as like
too.
Chris,
Yeah.
Leon, Jill, Claire,
Also, the fact he was acting
those
like such a
characters,
cocky
but like,
bastard too at the beginning of the cutscene is also insanely stupid for his character. The whole point is that he's probably one of the more grounded characters in an absolute batshit setting, bro. Like he's a badass, he knows what he's doing, but like he doesn't act overtly cocky like that. He's just very confident in himself and executes the job precisely. Like Hunk would never
yeah,
go fight Leon, and even if he did, he probably would come out on top.
Yeah.
people
Like,
called him
honestly,
the
like
Grim Reaper.
Yeah,
like
People,
honestly, if you're not familiar with this character, it's just like okay, it's just a dumb little boss fight. But like,
in RE2 remake in the Ghost,
yeah,
in the Ghost, not Ghost Survivors, the fourth survivor.
Quest Survivor.
No, is it the fourth Survivor?
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah, in the fourth Survivor, you, the dude calls Hunk Like he says something about like, "Oh, I'm glad to be
The
working
Angel of
with the
Death?
Grim Reaper" or something like that. Was it Angel of Death? I don't know.
It
Whatever he
might have
said.
been.
And
I don't
then
really remember that well.
I think it was Grim Reaper, but I could be wrong. And then Hunk was like, tell me where I'm supposed to go." It's like he's very insistent on the mission, not on
The personal side of it,
the
or the
yeah,
ego
like
of it.
he's not egotistical regarding his job. He knows he's good at it, but he's not cocky
Mhm.
about it. So him acting like that again towards Leon, it seems a little weird, but maybe it just is because he knows Leon's track record. I could kind of see that. I can kind of get behind that. Problem is, I just don't. I just feel like if he did die there, that's a really big disservice because he's not as iconic as Leon, Chris, Jill, Claire, but
Mhm.
he's still one of the most iconic characters in the series. He's one of the most badass characters in the series. He is not necessarily like a super important character to the lore, minus like an RE2, but he's
Mhm.
still like just the idea of him dying so quickly and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of being humiliated
Yeah, exactly.
Especially to a
feels
very
like
especially
a
to
cop out.
like a version of Leon that's like infected and is
Yeah.
dying
Yeah.
pretty much.
I get he's in
Just
It
his
just
getting
feels like
weak.
a
prime,
cop
which
out
I
for his
still think is
character.
kind of bullshit. I think that was just their way of being like, he's old, but he's still powerful, which I don't necessarily agree with, if I'm being honest. But the whole thing with the
Yeah.
power scaling of it is that, if I'm not mistaken, Hunk is so goated in the Fourth Survivor, he's basically like RE4 Leon in terms of power. And that's like before bioweapons are a super big thing and before like how to deal with them
Yeah.
is like super well known. The fact that he was already that competent that early on, and that is like the beginning of like his bioweapon career pretty much, like should show to like go to show how OP of a character he is. He in
Mhm.
RE4 Mercenaries, like the fact that he can literally like neck snap any enemy in the game, is freaking nuts, dude. Like he is actually so powerful. And I in my stream, I was literally crashing the fuck out because I was like, that better not be Hunk, bro. Because like I knew that he was just gonna get humiliated
Was
and killed
that?
in some easy way by a Leon who is, first of all, not in his prime technically since he's already infected. Two, he's infected and getting actively weaker. And three, Leon is really good at close quarter stuff, but Hunk is just better. He just is. Like
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
Leon is the tippity top, Hunk is literally like the atmosphere, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like he is
Yeah.
so insanely
Mm.
goaded. And I know it sounds like I'm just glazing the hell out of Hunk, but the problem is that the series does it itself. And then in Requiem, it actively throws everything away they built up on the character just for hype moments and aura, so we can get a Krauser fight at the end of the game. I don't know, man. It's just kind
It's
of dumb.
cool. Again, it's like what I was saying before. It's cool seeing Hunk
Mm-hmm.
in general, but it's like not like this, man.
Yeah.
Like even if he did survive, we kind of fucking humiliated him, right?
Yeah.
And if he
Like if
did
you're gonna put
survive,
Hunk in the
how?
game, make him the main fucking villain at the very least.
Not, I wouldn't say make him the main villain, but like,
But like
don't
maybe
make him
make him
lose
like a
the fight.
secondary antagonist, I
Main
guess.
villain power, I
Or
think,
like
is
Don't
just
a
what
make him
Connor's going for. Like, because he was kind of pathetic in this game.
don't make him lose the fight. Like not even like
Mhm.
have him lose and then retreat. Just if anything, make Leon retreat. Be like, I
That would
can't
have been
beat this
cool.
guy. I'm leaving.
Mhm.
Because like everybody, because that's the thing. It would be kind of cool if you had like you know how in The Last of Us 2, there's that whole section where you play as Abby trying to stop Ellie. That part sucks, I'm gonna be honest. But something like that in concept as Leon trying to stop Hunk, or as Leon having Hunk going after us and trying to defend ourselves. I feel like that could be kind of cool because it's like it would be interesting to have Leon be like, this guy's too good for me. I can't stop him because people have seen Leon be badass the whole game.
Mhm.
So then if you have him lose a fight against a normal human, you
Mhm.
know this guy's a threat.
Plus,
You know what I
RE4
mean?
remake already had you like end a fight in a stalemate with the first Krauser encounter. It's shown to be
Mhm.
Yeah.
possible for him not to end a fight immediately. Now, granted, Krauser is superhuman by then, but like they literally could have just, and also that call between Sherry was just massive Leon glazing because it's like, oh look, he's better than Hunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, he was, coming from you, that's quite the compliment. That would have been way like more earned if Leon had retreated, in my opinion. But I don't know.
Yeah. I just think it would be really cool. Like, okay, I don't completely mind the idea of Leon winning against Hunk. He shouldn't, but I feel like if this was what happened, like where Leon retreated and you made the audience realize how big of a threat this guy was if even Leon can't stop him. And then you have to stop him like through tactical means, actually having to like stealth around him or have him stealth around you and you having to survive while he's trying to kill you. Like there was a little bit of that in that fight, but not a lot. And I feel like if there was more of that or if it like lasted a little bit longer, like if that was like not its own whole section, but like if that was like a whole like
Mhm.
a longer sequence, having that actually be like a stealth fight, a tactical fight where you're actually, even if Leon does win in the end, that would be fine. It just would feel way more earned if you made it clear how strong Hunk was, even against Leon.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it
Like
was kind of disappointing.
establish him early on in the game, and then have him lose again. Have Leon lose against Hunk, and then when Hunk shows up later on in the game and he wins, it feels a little bit more earned. You're like, okay, like yeah, it feels yeah, I feel satisfied with this scene because hey, it was set up earlier, but the way that it is, it's just like okay, here's a boss fight of a character we didn't establish before. Okay, bye boss fight.
Oh yeah, also why the fuck is he here?
Also, isn't he
Yeah,
like
no,
60 to
it's not
70
really-
at this point? I feel like a lot of people are overlooking that. Like, he's kind of old by this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
How old is he in RE2?
Like, I thought he was like in his mid 30s or something. Like, he's not exactly a youngster.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Okay, let's just say he's 30 at a bare minimum, okay?
He's probably
What,
like in his 50s or
1998?
60s,
So he's like at a bare minimum, at least 58, okay, if we're going on the low end of things. That's kind of old, bro.
Maybe that's
Oh yeah,
maybe that's
how
the
old
only
is
reason
Leon
he
in
lost.
Requiem?
51.
49.
Wait, what?
No,
Okay.
49.
49, okay. Oopsies.
He's 21 in RE2 and this is 28 years later. So
True.
28 years later.
Oh man, I don't think I will ever be able to get over that, bro. Oh yeah, the Chris has a message for you, and then it goes fucking nowhere. Oh yeah, great writing, guys.
It's a setup for the next game.
Dude, so many people
Probably,
were saying that like
yeah.
it excuses bad writing, bro.
The thing is, you can say that that's set up for the next game, but also RE8 ended with setup for that thing too.
Yeah, that.
Oh, we're gonna take on the BSA. What the happened to that? They're still around doing stuff.
Leon even references it early in the game, or like midway through the game, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard they have like."
We
an
see
internal dispute or
BSA
something like that."
soldiers, as zombies in the game and as corpses.
Which are annoying as zombie types, by the way. Just to
Yeah,
preface.
they are.
Very tanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just like Leon references that they had like some type of internal dispute, and then at the end of the game, they tease like that Chris is still dealing with that. So like they teased that in RE8. They teased it again in RE10. Sorry, in RE9. Is it
Yeah,
going to be in RE10? Like, is that what RE10 is going to be like?
You guys
The
don't
thing is,
understand. You
they
don't understand the vision. We just have to wait for Resident Evil X to come out in 5 years.
The thing is, they teased in RE. It's kind of like how in RE2, RE3, and Code Veronica, they set up a battle to end Umbrella.
Which happens off screen.
Then RE4 happens.
And then they were like,
Umbrella lost.
actually, they were
Umbrella's shares dipped, and then their company went under.
Yeah.
Oh no, capitalism.
I mean, okay, to be fair, Impulse, I think that was more of like they were really tired of just making like by the end like of RE3 Nemesis. They were just like, we don't really want to make tank control like fixed camera angle RE games anymore, and that's why RE4 was so radically different, which was both a blessing
But
and
they were also trying to bring it. They were also trying to bring in a new audience too.
yeah, and honestly, I think RE4 actually did a really good job of doing that because I don't think it jumps the shark considering what we've seen in the series before that, and it did a good job. And then RE5 and 6 happened.
What about the Salazar statue?
What's up?
The Salazar statue that chases you.
Okay, that was pretty ridiculous, but I just mean like most of the game isn't like that. Like
Yeah,
RE9 is pretty like that consistently.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, can we just talk about how much of a wasted character Alyssa was in this game? What was the point of making it Alyssa? It could have been anyone, it wouldn't have changed jack shit.
I think they just wanted to have some type of reporter, and they were like, "Do we have any reporters on standby?"
Well, what bothers me is that it almost feels like the way they set up everything. She dies a year after 7. The game where she could have been chasing the connections the whole time. Like, it started with just the disappearances and maybe leads to the connections. But the problem is that they don't really address that at all. Like, it just apparently happens a year after 7, I guess, and that's about it. But, like, I don't know, man. And then, like, the fact that, like, Grace isn't even her actual mom. Like, what is she, like, do we know, like, what's the deal with Grace? Like,
Grace isn't her actual mom.
Or, sorry, Alyssa isn't Grace's mom. That's what I'm really trying to say. Like, I don't get
Grace
that.
is adopted.
Here's my question. Why was Alyssa killed? Was it because she had Grace, or was it because she was investigating them? Which one?
It seems like both, according to the game, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
They already had perfectly good story potential with how they were, like, leading up into it with 7, which is why I was so excited, because I was like, dude, the Connections being a shady organization? That's not, like, really Resident Evil, bro. Okay, well, obviously when I say it like that, that sounds, like, kind of sarcastic, but what I'm trying to say is that, like a more of, like, a low-key, like, syndicate organization. We don't really get to see that very often. It's always just some bombastic, over-the-top shit like Tricell and what the Connections ended up being in this game and Umbrella. Like, having a more low-key approach could have made the game a lot better.
Hmm.
And then Elpis.
It was a cure the whole time.
I liked that, actually. I thought that was cool. It definitely contradicts Spencer's whole personality in RE5. We talked about that a little bit earlier. If they remake RE5 and they change Spencer a little bit, no, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because if anything, it'll probably make Wesker look like even more of a douchebag.
Yeah. I think overall is actually like a pretty cool concept. I thought it was pretty creative. To have it actually be a cure.
The implications, though.
Yeah, I liked the way that part of the story was set up. Actually, I thought that whole thing with like the CD or not CD, like
the MO disc,
not DVD,
mm-hmm.
the disc, yeah, of like the interview. I thought that was really cool, and I thought that like it's cool that during whichever ending you do, you hear like the voices of that persuaded her to make either decision. And specifically for that one, like it tells you like the whole thing about hope. And I think I think overall that was set up very well, and I think it was a really cool decision. I actually think that. It's mostly just the Spencer inconsistency that I have a problem with, but if they remake RE5 and they change that, then I don't really mind.
Yeah.
My problem comes from the fact that how did he know that Elpis was gonna needed to like cure RC like syndrome or whatever? Like, according at least for what I got from the game, the whole thing about Elpis was that it's like a cure all, which kind of like diminishes almost everything that came before it, because it's like, okay, well, if they would have just found this first, then they literally could have just basically negated almost everything and mass produced it. But also, how did they cure Emily and Sherry? Because like,
yeah,
that means they can mass produce it, right? Because they only got one extra vial from Gideon before, like, you know, he escaped with it.
Yeah, why was Sherry behind? Like, why was Leon more infected than her? Is it just because like, he's older?
It just doesn't make sense, man. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and also I don't like that they cured Emily off screen. Like I feel like if there was, even if it was just like 5 minutes more cutscenes, just showing them actually going back to get Emily, saving her. Even if it was like one final short mission, just getting back to her, I wouldn't mind that. Like I feel like it would just be cool to show more of that rather than just jumping the gun and just like having it be like, oh, they found her, and then the post credit scene, hey, yeah, she's living with me now. Like it just came out of nowhere. It just kind of skipped all.
It's because they wanted a feel good ending, which I don't mind, but it's just the way they went around doing it is what bothers me.
Yeah.
Because I think 7 did a good job of like this horrifying, even if I don't like the final boss fight, like after the final boss fight, it really does feel like the, you know, the finally it's over, like, sort of like, yeah, exactly. And then Ethan is just like narrating, and it's like, so like it's the only time he even really has like an extended monologue, And then you're like, okay, you know what? I had a really good time with this game. I might have not liked the final boss or like the mine section very much, but you know what? Or like the boat section, but you know what? I had a lot of fun with this. But when I finished Resident Evil Requiem, I felt nothing but bitter apathy towards the game because like I really enjoyed it, and then the moment Xeno appeared, everything after that was just straight abysmal dog shit. I'm not gonna lie. So I know that might be like a fair bit blunt, but I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far. See, the thing is, I have a lot of complaints about this game. I know you have a lot of complaints about this game. We basically have the same complaints about this game. It's just they impact your experience on it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
We both have the same issues. It's just I am a little bit more lenient with it. And I actually did, as much as I disliked a large portion of the game, not like like a large specific area, just more like overall there was a lot of specific things about the gameplay, the story, all that I didn't like. There's a lot that could have been fleshed out better. But regardless of that, I still really liked the game. Like overall, I think there was a lot to love. There was a lot of stuff that I think could have been better, could have been improved upon, and some stuff that I didn't that I feel like didn't really make that much sense, but I enjoyed it. Overall, it's not like one of my favorite Resident Evil games. I mean, it's probably in my top 10, but that's because there's like a bunch of spin-offs and a lot of them are bad. So like
that's fair.
I think right now I placed it at like number 8. The thing is, I have RE3 remake above it. So
I was actually going to talk about that. I agree. I actually agree, and I don't even like RE3 remake that much.
Yeah. About to say, I've only beaten like 7 Resident Evil games in my life, and I think I have them ranked. Yeah. So, okay, so I like I said, I've only beaten 7 of these. So I have Resident Evil 1 remake, because I think that's the one I think I have the most hours in. Resident Evil 4 OG, which is I think one I beat recently before Requiem. Number 3 is 2 remake. 4 is 4 remake, ironically. Number 5 is Requiem. Number 6 is Village, and then number 7 is 3 remake.
Okay,
that's kind of like how I feel about I guess it's like it's kind of like what how pretty much like one where I can't speak for some reason like from the games that I most enjoy versus the ones I least enjoy. If that makes any sense. So I guess I'm kind of like in the minority here.
Just to put it into perspective, my 10th favorite Resident Evil game is Village. Right above that is RE1 remake, which I think is overall really good. It's just not my personal favorite style of Resident Evil game. That's the only reason it's that low. Like it would be way higher if they remade RE1 now again, it would probably be higher. It's just the style that I prefer of the modern ones. So my top 10 list going from highest to lowest. 4 remake is my favorite, then original 4, 2 remake, original 2, 3 remake, original 3. That's a trend here.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Both Resident Evil 4s, both Resident Evil 2s, both Resident Evil 3s. And then it's Requiem, and then it's 5, 1 remake, then Village. That's my list right now.
All right, so
damn.
I feel like you guys might disagree with this take. I think this would go into D tier with RE6. And dare I say, it's my second least favorite mainline entry besides 6. Now, keep in mind, I feel like the mainline entries have a pretty consistent quality. I don't really want to factor in side games because the quality of those games are insanely all over the place. For every, what's a good side game? I'm kind of blanking. I don't know. For every good side game, there's also like, Umbrella Corps, Resistance, or, Gun Survivor 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, the side games for Resident Evil are really bad, and I feel like until I play all of those, I can't really compare them to the side games. But for mainline wise, I would say that each mainline game offers something different. It offers something unique, and I would say that they at least average above a 6 or higher, unless you're talking about RE6, which I would say is, dare I say, like a 4 or something. Excuse me. But the problem with Requiem is that, one, there's so many blunders with the game. Even though there are a few good spots of the game, I just feel like the game doesn't have enough of them. But the game has many blunders. There's a lot of old. There's too much old in this game. There isn't really anything that offers new, which is part of the reason I don't like Village that much, is because like it just feels way too like fan servicey in terms of like oh look, it's Resident Evil Village, it's Resident Evil 4 inventory system, it's all that. It's not necessarily fan service in the same way. It's just like more of the same, if that makes sense. Not fan service. I'd say just say more of the same. But the problem with Requiem is that insane amount of fan service. Probably, dare I say, the worst mainline story besides RE6. And then obviously everything that I don't like about Requiem. But I don't know. I just, as someone who's played almost every mainline entry other than Resident Evil 2 and 3, I guess I haven't played the original one, but I played the remake, which people prefer to play anyway, so whatever. But
I did also play Resident Evil 1 on the DS, so I don't know if I would count that one though.
Deadly Silence, bro.
If I did, it would probably if I did count that. Hold on, I gotta look at my list again. If I did count Resident Evil DS, it would probably go in. It'd probably go between Requiem and Village, probably.
Okay.
For me.
My favorite spin-off game in the series, which is my 11th favorite game in the series, is actually Umbrella Chronicles. I actually really like Umbrella Chronicles.
I definitely want to play that one at some point.
Yeah, the rail shooters, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if like it wasn't your thing, but I do think it's not really my thing either. But I do think like it's pretty fun though.
I've seen it. I don't think it's gonna be my favorite, but I am looking forward to playing it whenever I get to it for sure.
It's definitely my favorite of the light gun shooters for sure.
All right, well, interesting. I'll definitely take that into account. I don't know. It's just I just feel like Requiem fails as a mainline entry. Like it almost feels like a side game with like a mainline game budget, if that makes sense. Like I don't know.
It's like a Revelations game.
Yeah, that's actually what I was saying on my stream, dude. Like I was saying it almost feels like a Rev 3. I don't know. It's just weird.
I mean, this game has more revelations about the old story than any Revelations game.
Yeah, well, the whole point with Revelations was that like it's supposed to be like a crappy TV show where like every episode like new things were happening or whatever. I don't know. I really don't like Revelations 1. I was wondering why I didn't remember anything from it, and then when I replayed half of it, I still haven't played the last half of it, but I do not like Revelations 1 at all. If I were to rank it, I would probably say that it's still in C tier. Dare I say D tier, because I'm not enjoying it that much, but I don't know. It's just not very replayable. And that's the same thing with Requiem.
Part of me starting to think this should have been Revelations 3.
Yeah. But I'll just finish up this tangent. I'll open back up the floor. Just I really want to say this because like I don't know, Requiem just doesn't feel replayable at all. Like if I wasn't a completionist, if I wasn't someone that like actually liked to get everything in my game, I wouldn't have started up another playthrough of Requiem if I'm just being 100% honest. Like I was saying earlier with Impulse Connor, so basically I feel like there's too many times where the game forces you to play in a specific way, like beat for beat, like you have to do it this way. Namely, like if you like kind of like the little girl section or like the Chloe section, is that what her name is? Okay.
Yeah.
Like where like you have to play it like this, you have to go into the bed and you can't go behind the door. I tried and literally some random girl like 180 like she knew exactly where I was for some reason. You have to hide under the table and then
Also in the orphanage, you know, in that one part where you have to go through the door, but the girl's in the way. Yeah, I was like, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do? Look at the video. You're supposed to go out of the door and then go back in, and then they're gone. I'm like, how is anyone supposed to figure that shit out?
Me and Impulse were actually just ranting about that earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of like
everything else I was able to figure out by myself pretty easily, but like that was the one part I was like, okay, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, like another great example, like I was saying with Impulse earlier, is that like when you get to Leon's section and you go to the BSAA camp and you turn on the generator, you have to look at the notes to know where your objectives are. That is not something that would be an RE4 remake, and that's part of the reason why a lot of people really like that game is that it doesn't handhold you like crazy with everything. But I don't know. Christ,
Yeah.
dude. We've
And
almost been
also
talking about this for
finding
3
the stuff
hours.
for the detonators was also like pretty difficult for me for a long time because it's like because they had to go to like specific entrances or like even the last detonator you have to go back into the elevator that you came from. Just like
Mhm.
again, it's another part where I'm just like again, how is anyone supposed to figure that out on their first playthrough? There was just so many moments where in the game where I was just like that. I'm just like, dude, like thank God we got things like YouTube these days, but it's like I shouldn't have to like watch a YouTube video in order to understand like what I'm supposed to do.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
was texting my girlfriend. What are we talking about right now? What was it?
just how the level design is kind of lacking in this game in terms of like the objectives and all
Uh,
that.
which level
Or
are
it's
you
just
talking
like
about?
it was just not
Like
The
Andreas?
Leon
go
like
half
Raccoon
time.
City exploration part. You were having some trouble with that too, High Impulse.
Yeah.
Like trying to
Which
find
part
the parts
specifically?
for the detonator.
Yeah.
Where's that crank,
Um.
Evan? Where's that crank? I remember, dude.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
the
this
crank.
is gonna sound really stupid, but the only part I actually got stuck on was I didn't realize you had to shoot the hook. Like when you get to the first warehouse, like once you start the objective, like to look for the stuff. I didn't realize you had to shoot the hooks to see and go up them. I think that's just kind of dumb game design. Is a oh look ooga booga shoot at yellow stuff, and that's literally all that like level is. Once I realized that, I just started looking for the yellow crap and just shooting at it. I was like, this is dumb, bro. Like people are like, oh look, they made the boxes look better, and then nobody talks about how the Leon section is just shoot the like yellow thing, Bart or whatever. I don't know, man.
Yeah, instead
To be
of
fair,
climbing
most
it,
of
you have
that
to
is for
shoot it.
loot, but there's a decent amount of that like that's
Mhm.
required. It's mostly just in that first warehouse section though that is actually required though.
Well,
So
there's a whole part with the skyscraper where you're just shooting so much random shit like that's yellow too.
that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really have a hard time exploring because, like, I don't know, for me, I'm just kind of used to, like, convoluted level design, but I will admit, I don't think it was that good, if I'm being honest, and I totally understand your guys' complaints.
Usually in Resident Evil games, I try to go or for my first playthrough, especially for a new one like this one,
Hmm.
um, I try to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I did my best to do everything there was to do. I think the only big thing that I missed, I don't know if I would consider it big, but like the biggest thing that I know that I missed was just the berry puzzle and whatever was in
Me too.
the star's office.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
I just didn't do that just because I didn't really know. I remember I saw one image was like one of the images that he had that said like good luck figuring this one out, kids. It had like an American
Yep.
flag in it, and I didn't remember where that was, so I couldn't find it. So I just gave up.
Yeah, well, I was
Moved
able to
on.
kind of like kind of decipher where it was, you know, almost immediately. I was like, oh okay, I think I kind of know where this place is, and
Hmm.
then I found the key.
Where was it?
It was so you have to like climb on like these I don't know if they're called boxes, but like it was in the fuck, what's the room called? Um,
I know what you're talking about. It's like a TV stand.
like it's right by the room with the soda machine. I think I don't know. Like there's like it's there's a I guess a board. I don't remember if it was a marker board or a chalkboard. It was one of those two.
You mean the room where Tofu was?
Yes.
I was looking around there. I just couldn't find where it was.
Yeah, I tried looking for. I want to say I remember I saw the tofu Easter egg like I think before I even got to that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I can see tofu, and I guess you can only see him on like your second playthrough or something like that because
No,
I
yeah,
didn't
no,
see
I
him
saw
at
him on my
all.
first. I saw him on my first.
Oh damn! All right, so I guess he's just very rare
I saw him
because I think there are
on
also
my
other
first
places he
playthrough.
can show up too in RPG as
Are there?
well.
There's 3
I think
locations.
I saw a video where like he was in like other places that wasn't just the room.
I only saw the one, which was
Yeah,
in that room.
yeah. Apparently, you can also shoot him and he makes noises, which is
He
kind of
does,
funny.
yeah. He sounds like a minion.
He does.
Yeah. He's always sounded like a minion, to be honest.
That
Before
true.
they were popular.
But yeah, I guess I didn't get into my numbered score, but I think I would probably give this game like a 5. For reference, I'd probably give RE6 like a 4.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm not that harsh on it. Like although like I said there are a lot of things I don't like about it, I'd still give it like an 8.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I get why you would put it that low. Also, when I saw Tofu, this was the face that I made. This is actually an image from my stream.
Bro's
I'm actually kind
literally
of surprised
bogging.
like Leon didn't have voice line where I was like, what the hell is that? This is weird. The T-virus is getting to me, man.
Looks like someone's leftover snack. I don't know, type as dialogue I was expecting. I don't know.
Like some Resident Evil 4 type dialogue. Like,
Yeah.
huh.
Oh no, the Leon one-liners in this
interesting.
game are kind of lacking. Like, I don't know.
I
I
think
did,
they were
I
good.
did like
I
the
think
brushy teeth one.
they
Which
were
one?
good, but there wasn't enough.
The brushy teeth one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
was
that's
it?
kind of just par for the
Like, I
course.
didn't have
Everything
one-
else just was kind of whatever.
no, I think his one-liners were good. I just think there wasn't enough of them.
like $1 million. That fucking guy.
Hey guys, can you believe we've been talking about? Well, I guess Connor, you've only been here for an hour, but me and Impulse, we've been talking about this for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know, how are you guys feeling? Are we guys gonna keep trucking or what? I don't want to feel like you're confined here, shackled down, but
we could talk for a little bit longer, but I need to give my girlfriend attention because I've been focused on RE9 recently. So
yeah, for like the
not
past
too much
weekend.
longer.
I don't know. It's just kind of nuts because usually I start doing like the whole check-in thing. Just you guys want to go much longer, like an hour and a half to hour 45. That is how much thoughts we've had on the game. So
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it is an 8-hour game, so I mean, I guess it makes sense.
I would say it's
My
closer to
first
like
playthrough was-
12 to 14 hours though, especially
My
if you
first
watch all the
playthrough
cutscenes.
My first playthrough took me one 7-hour stream and one 9-hour stream.
16 hours. Okay.
But my final, but obviously there was like some breaks that I took, so realistically it was probably more like 15, 16 hours. And
Oh
then
yeah, you were gone for like pretty extended periods of
score-
time, right?
And my final score was like 10 and a half, I think. So
I got
Damn.
13 and a half hours, and then my final score was like 8:45 or something. So I don't know how like whatever like par for the course that is, but
Mm.
what was yours again, Connor?
Let me check because I know I took a picture of it because I think
You
on
did.
PlayStation it says I have 13 hours, but
8:16.
but
Okay.
in the game, I have I have 8 hours 16 minutes.
Okay, so you're like 30 minutes
That's what I was
faster on the lowest difficulty then for at least half
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah. I was trying to play it on standard modern for a bit, but then as soon as I got to the Mr. X, like pretty much like close to the end of the game, I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm putting on the easier difficulty.
I don't know. I think that entire Mr. X sequence is just the epitome of like the type of shit you kind of you expect from Leon section. Like it's literally just a crummy chase sequence that adds literally nothing to the game. Like if it was removed, the game would be better for it. Like if we're being so for real here.
the Mr. X chase sequence.
Yeah, it was terrible, bro. Like literally all you do is just hold the stick
It was
and then
not a
oh
very
look,
good
there's an
chase,
insta kill attack that I swear I've seen almost everyone die to at least once because it's so like out of the blue.
I actually didn't die to that, actually, surprisingly.
Okay,
I
you're
did
just
only
built
because I
diff.
didn't know where I was actually supposed to go. Like I thought I was just supposed to like jump over it or something.
Well, I just thought it was like just to like startle you. I didn't think it was just gonna kill you. Like he was just gonna shove it through the wall because at that point he was just breaking down walls.
It didn't
He was
make any
literally
sense.
moving it.
It was like right here. Like Leon walks in. Da 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 do. There it is. And then Leon's just like, do, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere.
I will say
that
I'm glad I got to see the death animation because Leon like literally just like going into shock as his upper half is like removed.
Mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
sick.
Oh yeah, like the
but-
death I think honestly the death animations were actually like
They're really
pretty
good.
damn gruesome, honestly.
50-50. Some of them are good, and
That
then
one.
other ones just literally look like you're getting a hickey. So I don't know, bro.
I understand that actually.
Gets ripped in half, gets decapitated. Eh.
Well, Connor,
I-
some of
I
the
don't
zombie
like the-
animations, the zombies don't even like. It looks like they're trying to bite your throat, but because your
Yeah.
throat isn't being damaged, it literally just looks like they're like or something, bro. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I remember playing during my second playthrough recently, a couple hours ago, and and there, you remember the part where I think I talked to you about this regular Evan, where like where the first zombie encounter Grace gets bit, and then like
It goes nowhere.
throughout the rest of the game that's never brought up. Like it's never mentioned. I don't like it. Like nothing comes out of it. It's just like, oh, she gets bit and then she's just fine, I guess.
I keep thinking I ran out of criticisms, and then you guys bring up something that I had, like a thought that I had, like halfway through
And
my
then you're like,
playthrough,
oh
and then
yeah.
forgot about.
Honestly, this whole game is the epitome of like I'm not running out of criticisms. I just can't remember them.
Yeah,
That's the
Like
reason I
last
have this
minute.
game out of 5. Now, don't get me wrong. Like there are parts of this game that are well crafted, but I think overall this game fundamentally fails on what it tried to do. Like the whole like Leon's actual gameplay looks flashy, but to actually control it is just not. It's just way too sluggish and not fluid enough. Like even RE4 remake, like I gave the game so much crap over the years
At the time,
for
yeah.
not being good enough. But the problem, like, and then Requiem managed to make me look like an absolute fool because Formake is like a 11 out of 10 in comparison to like a 2 out of 10 in terms of like how the gameplay actually feels to play. Like
yeah.
Leon does not feel badass in that game at all. Like, if anything, in terms of like shooting zombies, I mean, like his shooting is slow, sluggish. Like, instead of going like, it's just like,
Yeah.
His finishers and
Like I
melees are
tried,
good,
like I
but his
tried
guns
playing
are
it,
not.
like yeah, because like I tried playing it without the aim assist, and I wanted to try to play it like I've been playing a lot of OG RE4 lately, and I wanted to try to like shoot the zombies similar to like that, and I kept I still managed to miss my fucking shot somehow. I was like, yeah, like I said, in the end, and I ended up turning on the aim follow option, and that ended up like, and I was that ended up
I
helping me
always
a
turn
lot.
that off. I don't like that. Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
messes me up more.
dude, it pisses me off how
Oh
that's
really?
always on PC, bro. Dude, this does
Oh
not
really?
need
I
aim
didn't know that.
assist. This does not need aim assist, bro.
when it when it's a controller,
Yeah,
it's aim assist makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because
I was just about to say
you
because I
don't
was playing it
always
with a
have your hand
controller.
on the
That's
joystick.
why.
just to clarify, I'm
That's why.
talking about
Yeah.
PC having aim assist, not controller, because controller
I'm about to say yeah. I'm about to say,
it's kind of
playing
a
on a PC.
requirement with
Like yeah,
how
I wouldn't have turned that on.
it's
Whereas
kind of
like yeah, because I was playing it on my PS5. That's why I
it's
was
kind of a
saying what I
requirement
was
with how
saying.
stiff like using a single finger is with aiming rather than
Yeah.
like your entire hand. My point is that this does not need aim assist. I think this needs like at least like a small amount just for like a just to help you a little bit. Like I think, Black Ops
Well,
7
yeah.
isn't a
Well,
good game, but I think that
fucking
game
like I
does
said,
an
you're
excellent
playing
job
like
of not being like the aim assist not being way too strong and it just like guides you a little bit. Like if you're a good player, the aim assist will help you, but if you're a bad player, like you still have to like put in the effort to like aim properly. I think that's the
Mhm.
aim assist middle ground, right? You know,
Yeah.
you don't need to be like absolutely goated. It's just a nice assist.
Yeah, whereas like with mouse controls, it pretty much like it's kind of like playing it with like motion controls. I would assume, right?
It honestly pretty
Where you're kind of
much
like aiming. Okay. Yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
very
I'm
I never
pretty
fluid.
sure
have
like
it.
I'm pretty sure once the VR version inevitably comes out, I'm pretty sure it probably won't be that much of a problem, aiming.
Literally, the only time I
I
had trouble aiming was in insanity mode when zombies literally just start going like actually nuts, bro. I swear to God.
see. I've gotten into the habit of not using aim assist just because I've played enough 4 remake to the point where like I'm not good at aiming in this game, but just it messes me up more when I have aim assist because I can't aim where I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So um so I just don't use it anymore. But with this game, even though I still didn't use aim assist, I just felt like the zombies were really unpredictable, and I could never tell where to actually aim. That was my big
Yeah,
that was a big
recently on
problem
my
that I
second
had.
breakthrough, I've been just mostly shooting them in the foot.
I did that a little bit on my insanity run, and then I gave up because the game sucked.
Well, at least it isn't Village of Shadows. Like, honestly, like, I was expecting Village of Shadows level of bullshit. Really, all it is just like it's just like the flaws in the game cranked up to 11 rather than like it's challenging, maybe too challenging, but I don't think it's unfair like Village of Shadows. So at least it's not that bad. But I still don't think it's a good difficulty. Just to preface.
Hmm.
I mean, Connor, you saw me, right? Like, what was the deal with, like, the fact that you literally Blisterheads took, like, 30 handgun bullets, or you could just insta-kill him with the axe? That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Dude, I
I
okay.
mean, to be fair, I think I was playing my run while you were playing, so I
Oh,
wasn't really
okay.
paying attention.
There are two options. Okay.
Oh.
Either A, Blisterheads inexplicably have a charging insta-kill move that you can't parry, or I'm really bad at this game. Because I swear, like three separate occasions, a blister had charged at me. I 100% hit the parry button,
You can't parry
and
those.
it didn't work. And it didn't work, and it insta-killed me. I don't know if it's actually an insta-kill move, or if it just
It
does
does
a
like
lot of
60% of
damage
your
that was
damage,
too
and you
low.
can't parry it, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
60%?
it's a
don't
lot.
like the
It
fact
is a
that-
lot.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
just stupid.
you said they're called the blisters, right?
The
Blister
blister
heads.
yeah.
The blister heads. Okay, I really
AKA
don't like the
blisters.
fact that they can just just pretty much give you like 10 smacks like one after another, like as their main attack. I'm just like, dude, it's like just give me some time to breathe, man.
If you're Leon, it's not that big of a deal because you can parry, but like in some cases it can be detrimental depending on your content.
Yeah.
On the
I
content.
mean, half the time I honestly forgot. Like, I had to keep reminding myself, oh yeah, I can parry because I think they do have a tutorial like I think at the very beginning of the game where
Oh, do they?
where you. I think
We
so.
talked
I
about that
could
earlier.
be
We didn't
wrong,
remember
but like
what it was
I remember
before
them
we
talking
watched
about like the parry mechanic like very early on. Wait, no, I remember. It was in the chainsaw scene. The first time you encountered the
it.
chainsaw.
Right. Yeah.
Was it like a
Yeah,
pop-up right before he hit you, or what?
I think
Yeah,
so.
it was like as soon as the cutscene ends, it pretty much pops up like, oh yeah, you can parry.
Oh, okay. I think
Like,
we
I
all
just
missed that because I don't
remember
remember that. At least me and Impulse did.
Yeah,
Is what
but
I'm
like
trying
I
to say.
always kept forgetting that I could parry up until like I think until like I think maybe the Mr. X boss fight. I could be wrong.
If I were to
But,
okay,
like, the Mr. X boss fight is like the first time where the parry mechanic actually becomes like actually pretty
imperative.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like important.
I think part of the reason why parrying in this game feels so sluggish is that, okay, the parrying could be 1-to-1 with RE4 Remake, but part of the reason why parrying in that game is so awesome is because Ganados visibly react to them just getting perfect
Yeah.
parried, and it makes a special sound effect that is satisfying each and every time you do it. In this game, it doesn't feel as satisfying, and zombies don't react to you.
So perfect. Yeah.
That same sound effect is also used when you fight the chainsaw guy with the chainsaw. Like the perfect
Yep.
parry sound effect from RE4 Remake. I noticed that.
It is what it is. That's par for the course for the game, unfortunately. Like, if zombies are so cognitive that they still remember bits of their last life, just make their eyes go like, if they get parried, that would be awesome, dude. Like, dude, just imagine if you're about to kill them, like, and then you just like, and then like as soon as like, you kill them and then they explode. That would be so cool, dude.
Or have them be like, no.
Well, I don't think that's even necessary. I feel like just add more facial expressions. You know what I'm saying? Make them more expressive. I mean, they already remember bits of their like past life anyway. Like, you might as well make them like. I don't think they should react to it with words or anything, but like from like a cognitive standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Just like danger, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's more realistic.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, I was a little kind of hesitant at first with the idea of the zombies like talking, but then I thought about it, I was like, I think it actually did kind of like make the game at least a little bit unique. Well, at
I
least
agree.
these zombies a little bit unique.
Until they throw
Plus,
that
I
out
mean,
the window with the second half of the game.
There's zombie media where they literally say brain, so I guess it kind of checks out.
Well,
it reminds me a lot of the Brad zombie in RE3 Remake, where he's like transitioning.
Oh, where he says sorry.
between human
Yeah,
and zombie.
You're right. Yeah,
But it's like a
never thought about
transition
that.
between human and zombie, but with these zombies, that's
Yeah,
just
but
like
these ones,
permanently what
they
they're
still
like.
kind of like they still like always sort of retain some sort of humanity.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
What I really like about the zombies is that you can clearly tell they're just pulling from an experience that's in their mind. They don't understand what it is or why it's special or unique.
I think that's also like one of those things where I think it might have been kind of inspired by like, because I think this is no surprise that the Resident Evil franchise is inspired by like the old George A. Romero zombie movies, and one of the things I remember
every zombie thing.
Yeah. But one of the things in Dawn of the Dead they talk about is that one of the things that one of the reasons why they could be like coming back to the mall is that maybe it's like maybe it's just a memory because that's what they were. It's something that they used to do all the time.
Yeah.
So I do kind of like seeing those like threads from the inspirations kind of like carry over to like the Resident Evil games. I don't know. I always dig stuff like that.
I fucking love Dawn of the Dead. It's so good.
I wish I could agree, but I've not seen it yet.
You're good.
Don't kill me, bro. Don't kill me.
It's okay.
I don't know. I just really like how the zombies. I don't
in
know.
the second
I
time
just
around.
like how like you can tell that they were stripped of their soul pretty much, and were just relying of what
Yeah.
the host has experienced in their life. It's like playing a broken key on an instrument. That's the vibes it gave me, and I feel like in that way
Sure.
it's very exceptionally well done. It leads to some of the most like unique encounters in the game, and then they strip all of that away in the second half of the game, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
One other
I
thing.
do like how you don't really get like a lot of information from these zombies, but you learn just enough to get an idea of what these zombies used to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like you said in the second half, again the rest the zombies in Raccoon City are just kind of just your standard zombies.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Another
I do
problem.
think it is kind of funny how like in the game like Leon was like these guys are supposed to be are not even supposed to be here.
Yeah. Um. One big problem I have in general, just with the overall game, is the guns.
They feel awful.
Hmm.
um. Just in general, pretty much all of them. What's weird is in Grace's section at the beginning, you get one handgun that's pretty bad. You can get like 14-ish bullets, I think. I think you can get two, and you can get 10, or sorry, no, eight, and then you can get four more. So I think in total you get like 14 bullets. And then you get another handgun, literally like 2 minutes after getting the first one. It just feels redundant, you know? It just feels like you should get the better one first, and then the worst one
Well,
should just not exist.
Well, what I like is that with RE7, I think one of the strangest parts of that game is that like the guns, like there are clearly tiers of guns, but it's so minuscule that it barely makes a difference. But what I love is that that first gun is genuinely awful. But unless you're playing on Insanity, of course, it doesn't feel like so much of a detriment. And then when you get that better gun, it does like 2 times more damage. It is a huge difference, and it feels good to use too. Like honestly, that might be like one of my favorite weapons that I used in that game, which is crazy because Leon should be the one that has a gun that feels that good to use, but whatever. And then the Requiem, like, dude, I got like triple collats like a couple times, dude. It's so good every time, dude. I love having a Magnum that feels like a Magnum. It does an insane
Yeah,
amount of damage. It's awesome.
The the
it just sucks that you don't get a lot of ammo for it. That's the
Well,
only thing. I
that's
mean,
kind
I
of the
understand for
point.
Grace's I understand for Grace's segment, like that makes sense, but for Leon, I'm just like that. I don't know, man.
I mean, I thought it was
I don't
fine. I
really
mean, it's the
have
most powerful Magnum in the whole
Yeah,
series at this point, so.
yeah, fair
I
enough.
don't really have that like luxury of loving that pistol that Grace has, just because I feel like it's useless to have the first one in the first place. It's just like, why not just give me, because you literally get the other one like 2 minutes later, and it's better in every way. I
I
get the
wouldn't say
idea of
two
like,
minutes later. You still have to make it to the area where that one singer zombie is in the West Wing with the
yeah,
piano.
but that's like really fast. It maybe not 2 minutes,
Well,
but
you still have to
maybe like
kill all three of the
5 or
zombies on that
something.
area, so a lot of people didn't get it as soon as they got to that room, like me. Like I didn't even get it till I
Well,
was like in
yeah.
the second half of that section.
Well, yeah, but also just like the fact that it's in that area already, I feel like it probably would have been better to just like have it in a slightly easier to access spot and only have one of them rather than having two of them.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the point is that like you can either go out of your way and waste a lot of resources getting it, or you can wait later on when you have the resources to take it on properly. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think it's perfect or anything, but I think that's just the design choices that they went through with that. So, I mean, if you don't like it, that's
I just
completely fine. It's just I think I
Yeah,
think it's cool.
I just feel like it would be better if like either there was only one handgun in just overall that Grace gets, or if you have the worst one for like the entire first section of the game, and then you
That's
get a
definitely
better
something
one
weird.
later on, rather
Yeah,
than
but
having them
like
be so close together.
by the time you beat the clinic section, you've already completed most of Grace's like portion of the game, like literally like
Yeah, but
70% of it.
you could even have it just be in like somewhere from the east wing, like maybe in like the level 2 key card or wristband area. Like maybe that would be better,
I
just
don't
so
know. I
like
just I
you
feel
could
like
feel
you put it
more of
any
an
later, it
improvement.
would have been like you wouldn't have used it like at all, pretty much.
Yeah, I just feel like it kind of like defeats the purpose of having two handguns when they're so close together. I
Hmm.
get the idea of just like having to go out of your way to get that one. It just feels a little pointless to me.
Hmm.
But I do think it is fun going back through Grace's sections as Leon, especially like since like your progress as Grace does carry over, like with what items you get, what zombies you kill. That stuff is really cool. The blood mechanics as Grace are really cool. What I don't like is just like we were saying, the Requiem is really good. The the rifle I really like as well. Like I forgot I think it's the Classic 70 that it's called. And you said you like the semi-auto one too. I haven't really tried that one at
The
all.
classic 70 does not feel like a sniper rifle, dude. It's ass.
I
Like,
like it without the scope a lot.
yeah, well,
Without
I'm
the
not
scope,
saying
I
it
like
isn't
it a
good.
lot.
I'm just saying that like it does not. It should be like 2 times like more power. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It just
Yeah,
didn't. It
I didn't
felt
really
severely
mind its
underpowered.
power, but I didn't really mind its power, but to be fair, I didn't really upgrade it either. Like I mostly just used it in to kill enemies from afar, or in a scenario where I just had a lot of ammo for it and I wasn't using it, so I was like, I might as well just use it. It's decently
Hmm.
powered anyway. So, but I did like that rifle a lot, and I like the Requiem a lot. Unfortunately, the guns you're going to be using most often in the game are the pistol and the shotgun, and the starter ones are ass.
Hmm.
um, the submachine gun is also ass. And then you get the upgrades for it. The shotgun one is good, but it feels way more powerful in third person than it does in first person, I will say. Um, the pistol is decent, but it doesn't feel that powerful either. But to be fair, it is a pistol. It's just like I don't. It doesn't feel as good to me. Like it's better than the other one, but I
Yeah.
just prefer pistols from other games, like the ones in RE4 remake, especially. This one just doesn't. Not neither of the ones in this game do feel very good. And the submachine gun, I haven't tried the one that you can buy, but looking at the stats, it doesn't look that much better.
Mm, so.
Um,
It's an objective upgrade over that one, but even then, the SMGs in this game are still way too weak. So take that what you will.
yeah, some of the worst ones in the series.
Agreed.
Um, I just think the the fact that the three guns that you're gonna use most often in combat sections just feel super weak is kind of a problem. And
Yeah.
what's worse is, especially the pistol, I found that the sound design in this game wasn't quite as good as like RE4 remake. To be fair,
Mm.
RE4 remake's sound design with the guns, probably the best sound design in the series. Besides maybe the shotgun, which I think RE2 remake probably was the best in terms of the shotgun sound design. But I feel like RE4 remake, especially the pistols and maybe the TMP, I felt like those sound effects for those guns made you feel very powerful. In this game, the sound effects don't feel like they don't make the guns feel powerful.
It just
Like
adds on to the
how much
guns
damage they
feeling really
do.
clunky to use as well.
Yeah, like the damage is a big factor, but even the sound is really important to making you feel powerful, if
Well,
you
it's
ask me.
because they just expect you to use the axe like primarily, but the problem is that it's simultaneously really good and also like kind of feels weak compared to the knife in RE4 remake. So
Yeah. Part
like
of me wishes that you just had the knife from RE4 instead of the hatchet.
yeah. I think the problem is that in RE4 remake, it's a tool. You know what I'm saying? Like you can parry enemies, but you still need it to kill enemies before they mutate or stealth kill enemies. But the problem is how they have it in Requiem is that they expect it to be like 50% of the gameplay in terms of if that makes sense. Like they don't treat it like a tool, they treat it like a weapon that is a tool. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, I get what you mean. I also don't like the stealth kills in this game either.
they're awful, dude.
Mostly just the thing is, it's a cool animation, but it's a stealth kill, and he's going like that does
Oh,
not feel like a
I
stealth
actually
kill.
really like that. I feel like it goes to show how much Leon has like improved in terms of like his skill expression. But like my problem is that like in RE4 remake, when you ran up behind an enemy, you still had like you could actually run behind them, and if you're quick enough, you could still stealth kill them. Because my biggest problem with stealth games is that like they force you to like go like
Really
start
slowly.
running. Yeah, exactly. It feels like they force you to take way too much of your time up. But with RE4 remake, like as long as you weren't being seen and you weren't like just dancing around an enemy, you could still run up behind them and then they would still take like an entire second for them to be like, "Huh?" and then like whatever. But in this game, the zombies are smarter than the Ganados. They literally will hear you coming up behind them and you have to
Sometimes.
crouch. Yeah, obviously
Sometimes.
not all the time, but there's a few zombies that are so slow that like they actually act like the Ganados from RE4 remake, but the majority, like 90% of them, you have to crouch like 5 meters away from them, then come up to them and then do the animation, and it just feels clunky every time. It wouldn't be a
I
problem if
found it
what's
I
up?
found that I found that most of the time I was able to do a stealth kill even after running up behind them, but there were only a few small times, like just there was a very small amount of times
Hmm.
that they actually turned around. Um, but there were a few times, and I was like, this is not how this game or RE4 has been working at all. Like it felt like out of nowhere, like when that happened for the first time. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, it makes sense that they would hear you, but it doesn't make sense with like the what's previously happened historically
Yeah,
throughout the series. Um, the thing is, I like the animation of the hatchet stealth kills. It just doesn't look like a stealth kill. It looks like it would make so much sound. You know what I mean?
true.
That's my problem with them.
I mean, that's completely fair. I think my biggest problem is just like, I mean, it looks cool. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like the devs behind this game spent way too much time making it look cool, but not feel good to play. Because,
Mhm.
like, you know, when you're playing RE4 Remake, sure, the stealth kills don't really look that satisfying, but, like, it feels like you're actively engaging with the world. Whilst in Requiem, it feels like the game's, like, in terms of, like, the feeling of it, feels so all over the place that, like, it doesn't really feel like you're fully immersed into the combat.
Yeah. I do like the juxtaposition though between like Grace and Leon and how their comfortability with handling the guns. Like you can tell Grace like shakes really hard when she's aiming a
Mhm.
gun. She like her hand hurts from the recoil of the
Until you take
Requiem.
drugs.
I do think that stuff is really cool. Like it's a cool distinction, and I like the very it's a very big difference between their comfortability. Um,
If I were to nitpick,
and
I don't think the stabilizers should have made the stability of the guns better. I think they should have only made the reload speed because I feel like the reload speed in this game, at least for Grace, does feel kind of slow. I feel like they should have just made it so the stabilizers only did reload speed because like even like two stabilizers in, Grace goes from like, you know, shaking like this to being like
Mhm.
I don't know, she just turns like she's more confident than Ethan Winters by the end of her clinic section and like I don't know.
Mhm.
It just feels I don't know. I think that's part of a problem with the stabilizers rather than how they designed the level.
Mhm. Yeah.
How are we still finding things to complain about?
I don't know.
Every like dude, normally during these non-canon shenanigans, like, you know, there'll be like a little pause and then we'll resume to something else, but like that almost hasn't happened at all. Like as soon as it goes quiet, someone literally speaks up and they're like, "Oh, this kind of
Yeah, whenever we go quiet, I just look back through my notes to see if there's anything
Mhm.
else that we haven't talked about yet.
I've
We
actually
are getting
I filled out
um
everything already, so
yeah, I think I've run out of everything, out of all my notes. I'm gonna keep them here because I'm still gonna talk
yeah.
about them
I
during
mean,
my
3.5
streams.
hours, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, Connor. Was there anything else that like with the game that you just really weren't that satisfied with, or do you think we've covered basically everything?
Mhm. Um, we've already talked about the reload speed. I honestly thought it was pretty slow for both characters, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
the
that's about the only thing I could add.
you can upgrade it, but like even then, it still just felt kind of sluggish because you can tell it's more geared towards like a first person game rather than how it is in RE4 remake and RE2, or I guess in RE3. Sorry, but that game's piggybacking off too, so I guess whatever. But
I just hope for VR and Mercenaries. That's
Yeah, oh
it.
yeah, oh yeah.
dude, Mercenaries would be such an
I'm
awesome
mostly
idea.
looking forward to VR.
I
Because
mean, the
like think about
combat's
it,
not
you could have like a
the
forced like
keep those.
character, like maybe some characters are exclusively first person, like characters that don't have like action hero stuff, and then the characters that do are third person. That'd be so cool. Like juxtapose, like you could still choose, but like like Grace could be first person and Leon could be third person. Like that type of stuff with like extra characters is super sick.
In RE8 third person mode, is Chris's section also third person?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, I
Yeah.
haven't played the entire game in
Yeah,
third person
but
because it's gonna
here's the weird thing
Okay.
about the section in Village is that like he in the game when you play as him, you know how like he has a night vision mode. Well, in
Yeah.
the cutscenes he doesn't have that helmet, but in the game he does. So it just kind of makes it seem like it just disappears and reappears for no reason. It's so funny.
I don't know, man. I could make an entire like rant on why the third person RE8 just fundamentally fails, but it's literally just a mod like that they just packaged as like something you have to pay for. Like people literally
I played a little bit of it.
At least when you mod it in, like uh uh you have the chance to like increase like the FOV and stuff. So
Yeah.
I will say one of the one of the positives. I really like how you can pull out the flashlight whenever you wanted. I always thought that was kind of dumb that like in
Oh,
RE8,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you literally just didn't have a choice over that, and just being able to casually press the button whenever you wanted to was kind of sick.
I
Oh,
think in
yeah.
RE8 VR, you can like your flashlight's in like your jacket or something.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And
I
also
haven't
in
played it yet, so I
RE4
wouldn't know.
remake, in RE4 remake VR, your flashlight automatically turns on in situations where you need it, right? But then you can grab your face and you'll have
Yep.
the flashlight in your hand.
Yep.
That's kind of
Because
cool.
like the flashlight just follows your gaze, right? It's not a physical
Yep. Yep.
flashlight that you're holding. But if you want to physically hold it, then you can just grab it off your face.
Yeah, and it can be kind of like be like Leon in the actual in the
Yeah.
third person mode. Yeah. My
Or I
cactus.
guess how they do it in
Never
Requiem,
mind
which
the
is they
log.
go like this.
Yeah, literally.
Do you guys think we should just send it off here?
um, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Just
I mean,
final
unless you
thoughts.
guys
What do you
do.
guys think?
I'm just kind of run out of things to talk about. I've
Final
already
thoughts.
said
What do you
my
guys
my
think we're
shtick. I feel like
doing
I'll just
next?
start repeating myself if I say anything else.
What do you guys think we're going next? Like for Resident Evil,
Oh,
like
that's a good point.
what remakes do you think we're gonna get? What do you think RE10
Well,
is gonna be as
I
well?
Code
I
Veronica
remember
and
one of
5
the,
for sure. I don't want
yeah.
a 5 or 6
I
remake,
think
but it's good. Of course, it's gonna happen.
So I
I
think
think
six
one
is now
I remember one of
inevitable.
the rumors was that apparently Capcom was working on on a Resident Evil Zero and Code Veronica remake, which
Yeah.
it could be. I'm definitely would. I mean, I think Code Veronica will probably be the overall better game, but I definitely would. I think the Zero remake is probably the one I'm probably more looking forward to because I tried playing the original Zero like multiple times. I cannot get into it at all.
I
So
wonder
I've
why.
played the whole thing. It's good in concept. Like most of the areas are pretty well
yeah.
designed. It's just like the enemies suck. The lack of an item box sucks.
I mean, the fact that you have to
The
control both
character
characters at
management
the
is
same time
sucks. Yeah.
is just ridiculous. That's
There's
like a big turn off for me. And also the
definitely a lot of
inventory
stuff
system
that
is just it's like you don't even get like an inventory box at all,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's one
just
of the games that can benefit the most from a remake.
oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think Zero and Code Veronica they should definitely remake.
Yeah.
RE1, I personally
Hey,
still
Code
want
Ver-
them to remake, but I understand
especially
why a
since
lot of people don't want them to.
both games do establish Albert Wesker as well.
Yeah.
Because like one, Zero is obviously a prequel to Resident Evil 1, so it you kind of see like kind of like his sort of like his workings behind the scene before he goes to the before he tricks the Star Wars Alpha team, I think, right? To the mansion. And then, Code
Mhm.
Veronica, it reveals that he survived his OD of Resident Evil 1, and then we got Resident Evil 5 and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Thing is, RE0 I think came out after RE1 remake.
Yep,
So
yep.
if they remake RE0, I feel like it's weird for them not to remake RE1.
Again.
I mean, yeah, obviously they remade it already, but like the fact that Zero came out after and like Zero
Well,
very
And
clearly
I'm not
that's
gonna
what
get
came out
into
with
it, but you
RE1.
already know my stance on it, Impulse.
yeah. I know you don't
Yeah.
think they need to. I don't think they need to. I just feel like it makes the most sense with what they're trying to do with the remakes, especially if they're
Yeah.
going for RE5.
Yeah.
I feel like one makes a lot of sense just to set up Wesker. But if they skip RE1, I won't be
All right.
disappointed. I would just rather they did remake it. But if they don't, won't be a huge deal. I definitely want them
Yeah,
to
yeah.
remake Zero
We
and Code
still got the
Veronica.
other remake anyway, so it's not a huge loss.
Yeah, I do want them to remake Zero and Code Veronica. I
Yeah.
think at some point they inevitably will remake 5 and 6. Probably not for a long
Yep.
time, but they definitely will.
Yeah.
Before I didn't think they would remake 6. I thought that it could happen, but I didn't really expect it. But now with
I
RE9 and
think
retconning it,
after some of the ridiculous stuff in Resident Evil 9, it's like, yeah, I think
yeah,
they're probably gonna remake
yeah.
6.
Now I think it's like pretty
I
much
don't want a
inevitable.
6 remake, man.
I want a 6 remake, as in
You
like
just
they
say you don't
literally
want a
remake
6
it, like they
remake?
remake the
I do
entire
not want a
series.
remake of 6, dude. no matter what they do, it's still
Yeah.
a globe trotting
Yeah.
adventure, and it's just basically seventh generation third person shooter slop in terms of concept. Like no matter what they do to the game, they can't improve on that. Like they would have to
Unless they just
reimagine it.
remake it completely. Yeah.
I mean, I think the one thing they could improve on is maybe like the inventory system, probably.
Okay, but
That's
like,
Love it, God, please.
I feel like at that point, just make a new video game. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of these remakes because, like,
think
all those games, like, people say, oh, yeah, they still exist. But the problem with remakes is that, like, newer fans and the actual developers themselves intend them to be, like, the overwritten version. And Requiem almost proves that 2, 3, and 4 remake are supposed to be, like, the version you're supposed to play over the original.
Timeline, yeah.
And it sucks because, like, I just feel like it just has no respect for what came before, you know? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I like the gameplay of RE1 Remake, and I hope that every game should be like it. But I will say that despite not really liking tank controls, well, even if it's the alternate version, but still, like, the alternate version of the tank controls and the fixed camera angles, there are plenty of things that I dislike about it, but the upside was that it had genuinely some of the most tension in the entire series, probably the second scariest game, 7 obviously being the first, and also had a lot of iconic moments, like when you go into the spider room. Like, honestly, I wish I was recording that because vividly, I remember being like, you know, like, not like jumping, but like in my brain was like actually like freaking the F out.
You're like,
And
holy
like,
shit.
and like, how do you do that in a third person version of RE1 without making that a cutscene? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there would just be so many like nuances from all the fixed camera angles and all the gameplay that forces you to play in a certain way that'd be completely lost by just like being over the shoulder of Jill just trotting, or Chris trotting around like that. And that's part of the reason why I'm so adamantly against a remake of that 5, 6. Like, I think RE2 and 3 were like, I think they were okay because those games needed remakes. My only complaint is how they've handled their legacy and making them like the canonical versions. But 4, I just, you know, I've come around on 4 remake quite a bit, but I still don't. I think it was probably one of the most unnecessary remakes of all time. And they should have just made it a Leon game that was not RE4. Like, it could have been a great, like, oh, look, you can still enjoy RE4 and you can still enjoy this in terms of the legacy. But now, like, a lot of people probably won't play the original over it. And canonically, it is the version that's happened. So, and the fact with, like, 5 and 6, like, it's going to be the same crap. I think Code Veronica, I haven't played RE0, so that's the one game I genuinely cannot comment on. But for Code Veronica, like, just from what I've seen, like, there's tons of complaints about the actual gameplay itself. And I think it's probably, so far, the most deserving of a remake. So,
I love the story of Code Veronica. I hate everything else about it.
mhm. I've seen tons of people complain about it. Like, is it true that, like, there's certain boss fights that happen, like, as soon as you switch to another character, and everything you had right before you switched, like, if this is the boss fight character and then, like the transitioning, like that sort of bullcrap, or what, Impulse?
Claire and Chris share an item box.
Mm-hmm.
And you are not warned before you swap characters. So if you have an item on you that you desperately need for a boss fight as Chris, but you have it on you as Jill, or sorry, as Claire, you're not getting it for Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make do with what you have. I think they should just make them not share an item box. Just make them get their own shit. Honestly.
Well, I mean, yeah, probably. I can't even argue against that. That's valid.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be against them like completely overhauling it. Like, they could do it kind of like RE9, or they could even split it up into 2 different campaigns. Honestly,
I would just do it like RE9. Honestly, that just seems like the best way to do it. Like, just have it so certain zombies like return their locations, and make it easier or harder depending on which character you're playing as.
Honestly, although RE9 is very oddly paced, I wouldn't be surprised if the way that they structured it was like you know how people say that RE8 was kind of a test run for an RE4 remake? I could see RE9 being like a test run for a Code Veronica remake in terms of the structure. I could see that.
Well, I can't really agree with that, considering that the teams between 2 and 4 and 7 or 8 are different dev teams. But it just seems like they were like, we did an RE1 like inspired game.
Like, a proven concept.
I don't know. Because, like, you can tell that, like, the attach AK system that they use for 8, which is such a soulless inventory system, is exactly the same one they used in 9. And then the shop is, like, the same, like, it's like the Callisto Protocol. Oh, look, you got your Callisto credits. Like, dude, it's the same bullshit in RE9, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I just really hope they improve on Steve in the Code
Yeah.
Veronica remake.
Yeah.
Bro straight up tried to make out with Claire while she was sleeping, dude.
That's literally some
That
domestic girlfriend-esque behavior, bro.
literally,
For
There's
context, the
definitely a
protag
lot
tries
of
to kiss his stepsister, who is also his teacher.
of course.
You know, that sentence literally makes me look like a crazy person. I'm not going to refrain from explaining anything about that show further.
I'm pretty sure all they had to do was just look it up. I wouldn't recommend
Anyway.
it, but, you know, I mean, you know, the option is there.
True.
anyway.
Real. Well, I think we're all getting a little antsy from literally being on stream for almost 4 hours. Good
Yeah.
lord. I think I might just end it right here. But I'm
Dude, every time I hear like the fucking like hear someone say 4 hours, I always think of that like Angry Joe meme where he's like 4 hours.
real. Well, how about this? We go around. Any closing thoughts? Just like things you like, maybe you want to reiterate or re-mention, or maybe something else. I don't know.
I think like I was saying, I think that RE9 is very weirdly structured. It's oddly paced.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think
I agree.
like even if it's not the same dev team, I could see it definitely being a proof of concept in a way for the structure of a potential Code Veronica remake, just because it is structured in a similar way. I could see them doing something like that. And I think that they definitely will remake Code Veronica just because of how much people want it.
Wasn't like
and
number
how important
one?
it is to the story. Yeah, and how
Yeah.
important it is for the story of RE5. So I think they definitely will. I think that's definitely what they'll do. And like I said before, I feel like Xeno might also be kind of a proof of concept for what Wesker might be like in a 5 remake or a Code Veronica remake or both. And I definitely think that it feels like this game was like a test run for a lot of different ideas that they might do in the future. As for RE10, I think they could definitely go the route of the BSAA thing with Chris. You never know. Maybe Leon will
Maybe
join in
him
on
teaming
that
up
too.
with like Leon or something like that.
Yeah, or even Jill would be cool.
Yeah, we haven't seen Joan in a mainline
She
game in
hasn't
a
been.
long
She hasn't shown
time.
up since
She
RE5.
hasn't been in a
So.
mainline game since RE3. Or sorry, RE5,
Oh,
but she hasn't been a playable like protagonist since RE3. Is
Until
really my point.
RE3 remake, yeah.
She hasn't
But we're
appeared
talking
in
about, you know,
a canon
chronologically.
scenario. She hasn't appeared canonically since Death Island. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if I
true,
really
yeah.
consider that canon after watching that movie, but it's
Yeah.
insane,
It is
bro.
canon. That's just a fact, man.
yeah.
It's co-parter. Connor, any closing thoughts?
Cool. Closing thoughts. Oh man, yeah, I really don't know what to say other than, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think I've pretty much like said my piece. Man.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll end off. I think part of the reason I'm so disappointed was that honestly, the modern trilogy for 7, 8, 9 is pretty similar with how 4, 5, and 6 were handled, where 4 was the game that really introduced new ideas and really brought a fresh, bold take to the franchise, and then the other games tried to copy it kind of haphazardly and not really understanding what made it work in the first place. Like RE8 really just tried to do a lot of RE7 and 4 stuff, and then RE9 just tried to do a bunch of RE7 8 stuff again, except, you know, with the better protagonist pretty much. That wasn't Ethan Winters. RE8 Ethan Winters. I almost consider RE7 and 8 Ethan Winters to be different characters, which is a different discussion for a different day. So I guess part of the reason I'm so disappointed is that we've had 2 really, really not so great mainline entries in a row, and I think we just need a developmental shakeup with the team behind 8 and 9, because it's very clear that like either they're in over their head, or there's not enough or there's too much creative freedom, or like they're just doing whatever they want, and I really need them to just like really focus in and make a game like 7 where it's like they clearly have like a very established idea for what they want to do, and for them to execute it well. Because remember, RE7 had a 2-year dev cycle, and the game ended up the way that it was. So I think they like something needs to happen, because 9 is being rated really well, but it is a fundamental failure on a lot of fronts. Like I know I'm like over exaggerating. Like it's not a completely horrible game, but I do like playing it less than almost every mainline entry besides 6.
Yeah, I think there were definitely like a lot of great moments in the game, like particularly within, especially like that first half.
Agreed.
But I do think it does kind of like I think story wise I think it does kind of like fumble a little bit.
I think that it
I still
follows
had
a
a really
very
great time. It's just
similar.
I think they're just like I think it's kind of like a weird mix of like half of it is good and then half of it is kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not like the worst thing I've ever played. I'll say that much. Like
There's
I've played not even just I've played way worse video games in general. I'll say
the
that.
story of the game follows a very similar formula to 2, in that uh you play as two different characters. One is
Mm,
Leon, and the other
of
is a
course.
young girl who is trying to save a little girl who ends up getting infected by
Mhm.
a virus, and then she gets cured by the end. Like, it's a very
I
similar
never really thought about
formula.
that. Yeah.
Um, and it feels like this game overall is like a mesh between 2, 4, and 6 ish, a little bit of 7 and 8, and a tiny bit of Code Veronica in terms of the structure. It seems like it's a blending of a lot of ideas, and it seems like there's a lot of ideas that can sprout into other games. Like I said, Code Veronica remake, RE10, RE5 remake, whatever they end up doing, I feel like they could definitely
Mhm.
branch out from here and make really good stuff. As it stands, this game is not exactly what I was hoping for. I did
Mhm.
enjoy it, but I feel like it's more of a branching of ideas rather than um like it had a lot of good ideas, but it didn't utilize them all to their best potential. And
Hmm.
I think they could definitely use all these ideas very well in remakes of Code Veronica, even Outbreak at some point. Like I feel like there's a little bit of Outbreak like ideas in there. Like Daylight was pretty similar to Elpis in a way.
Mhm.
Um and I just think that they could definitely use these ideas very well in the future. As it stands, game is good in my eyes, but there's a lot of flaws with it,
Yeah.
and I just hope that that going forward, uh, the games become a little bit more, I guess, kind of not necessarily focused, but like,
There's more consistent
um,
quality to them.
sure, yeah, and
Mhm.
like they make sure that that the gameplay feels fluid and it feels as it should. Like with Leon, he should feel badass. Gray, she should feel vulnerable.
Hmm.
But when you
Mhm.
have shitty guns as Leon, you don't feel very badass, you know? So I think they
Yeah.
should definitely
Mhm.
improve upon that for future games.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So yeah,
I feel like this game might have benefited from having two totally different campaigns because I think,
I
as much
agree.
as I don't like Leon's half, I think if I was just able to choose to only play as Grace's sections or only play as Leon's sections, I would have enjoyed the game a lot more. Like, I think the
Sure.
game just feels too bloated as like a singular, like you have to play it in the way that the developers wanted you to, rather than being able to kind of be like, oh, I kind of want to play as Grace only, or I want to play as Leon only. I think if they would have balanced out the pacing better, where it was going back and forth like Code Veronica, where it was just like stretch, 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 rather than just like, itty bitty pieces, basically one character, and the other character and itty bitty pieces of the other character. It just doesn't work at all.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna head out now. I had a
Mm-hmm.
fun time
Same
talking
here.
to you guys. I hope people have enjoyed the stream. Uh,
Or
and I
even the
hope
VOD. Watching this 10 years
or
later.
that as well. Yeah. I know we don't all completely agree on our ratings for this game, but
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, I think
it was
all
fun
ratings
talking
are
to you
like
guys.
completely freaking different.
It was
Like I'm
fun
like a
talk.
7.
It was fun shitting on you on sorry, not on you guys. It was fun shitting on the game.
Yeah,
It
fuck
was
you.
fun shitting on the game
Yeah, fuck
with
you.
you guys.
Fuck you. I'm always right.
But
It
yeah,
was fun
I had a
shitting on this
really fun
game with you
time
guys, even
discussing
though
the
I
game
did
with
like
you
it.
guys. This is exactly why I wanted to do non-canon shenanigans because I think we were all able to like express our thoughts and opinions in a manner that like is very befitting of this podcast where it's just
Yeah.
random
Yep.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the whole point.
Especially
Yeah.
since we've done a little bit of everything. We know everything that's in the game. We've
Mhm.
all played it at least once. I've
Yeah.
played it in under 4 hours on casual with
Nice.
Same here.
without using herbs or
Oh, that's
like
lucky.
healing items or the blood collector. So
All
it
right.
was I did that all today. I also played a
Nice.
little bit of Insanity, so we kind of know like a lot about the game. Like we know
Yeah,
pretty much
except for the
everything there
final
is to know
puzzle
about the
for whatever
game,
reason.
besides the final puzzle. Yeah. So I think like I was a little skeptical about like how much we'd have to talk about in this stream, and well, we had a lot clearly. So
Well,
it was a bit fun.
I hope the 2 people that are watching enjoyed this stream. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them was
One of them is
Connor.
probably me.
Yeah,
One of them is literally.
They might be both of us.
he's literally me. But I really enjoyed this discussion with you guys. I don't know. I'm very disappointed with what we got with Requiem, but I'm just glad that we got to discuss it all. I guess.
Yeah,
Mm.
I definitely
yeah.
enjoyed it, but there's some things I wish they did differently.
Yeah. I could have. Yeah. I had a good time, but like even I'm just like could have been better.
I had more fun talking to you guys about it than playing it.
Yeah.
I think, like I said before, I had a much better time playing this than watching Scream 7. So there's that.
You know, people were crashing out when I
Alright.
said that I enjoyed playing 3-Make over this, but I still hold that opinion. And I don't even like 3-Make.
I agree too.
That's fine.
I like 3 Remake. I like 3 Remake a lot, but I do prefer it over Requiem as well.
See, this is why the podcast is good. We basically we have similar opinions, but we express them in wildly different ways.
Even if we don't have the same opinions, even if we disagree, we're just like we're all just super chill.
Yeah,
we have.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Evan,
No.
you've been a Resident Evil fan way longer than I have, but I've played more of the Resident Evil games than you are, so we kind of have a little bit of a balance.
Yeah.
I don't want to seem like I have okay. So I don't think I've explained this very well, but I don't want to seem like I have a superiority because I'm a very new gen RE fan. I know you're a newer gen, but we still come from the same era, which is 7 and onwards. So I just really want to preface that.
I actually come from the Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 era. So
yeah, dude, you're an OG. You're an OG.
Yeah.
I
think I've played more games.
I think I also came from the movie era as well.
Yes, you have.
I mean.
Yes, you have.
I've played more games than either of you guys, but you guys have been in the series for longer, so you guys know probably the finer details of the lore better. So we have a good balance of what we can talk about.
I want to discredit your knowledge though. I mean, you've still seen tons of stuff. Dude, I have not played Gun Survivor 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the lows of this series. To me, You
know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna leave immediately.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
Right. I think Resident Evil Survivor 1 would be a great first-person RE7 style remake.
Okay. Okay, damn. All right.
Okay, Connor. We're gonna end it right here. Well,
right.
I enjoyed talking to you, fam. I cannot believe you literally were here for 3 hours and the stream's almost been 4. But anyway, this is the Evan Man signing out.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye! Well, chat, I hope you enjoyed the stream. See ya!